day.
Okay, Justin Vincent in 1 hour.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Ross Jackson's back in hour 3. We got people calling LSU overrated.
It's hump day.
We got people projecting the New Orleans Saints to draft an LSU football player.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Never happen. It'll never happen, Muse. You know why?
Why?
Because they don't go to Ohio State.
That's true. It's hump day.
Only place they draft players from.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
All right. Let's get going. Start this thing as we do every single day.
It's time to pop the top on another edition of AFR with Bud Light. Drink easy.
Tigers are back on the practice field on Wednesday, a full pad workout on the McClendon practice facility. Brian Kelly met with reporters after practice. Again, full disclosure, I was not at practice on Wednesday. I had a morning full of meetings, so I did read some of the reports that were out there from practice. Maybe of note, things of note here. Nice full squad interception by the defense. Came off a tip pass. C.J. Daniels dropped the ball. They came up with the pick. Let's see. Mason Taylor had what looked like sounded like a great touchdown grab over Harold Perkins, who was in coverage. So all things considered, a pretty nice day of work, it would seem, and LSU continuing to prep for USC. The offense going against a scout, a defense, and vice versa. So getting looks right now from USC. Of note, Miles Frazier, your starting right guard, was in a walking boot. Tyree Adams filled in at right guard for him. Sage Ryan and West Weeks were both out as well. So as you get here to the end of camp, LSU has largely avoided the major injury. I mean, Texas has lost 2 running backs. Texas A&M lost their starting running back. I mean, up and down college football, we've seen these stories we do around the SEC every day, and you hear these stories of teams that have lost players for the season. Thankfully, LSU has avoided that major injury so far in fall camp. But after practice, Brian Kelly did give an update on 4 players that were injured. He was asked about Miles Frazier, West Weeks, Sage Ryan, West Weeks, Miles Frazier, and also gave an update on Chris Hilton. Give a listen.
Quick questions on Sage Ryan and Weeks West. How are they doing?
Pretty good. I mean, I think we've got a grade 1 hamstring. I think we've got a foot sprain. You know, these are injuries that should clear up this week and have them back full go for preparation for USC. I think we've got an ankle with Miles Frazier. Hilton's got a bone bruise, but one that, you know, we feel like, you know, he should be back this weekend as well. So I think 3 or 4 guys that, you know, kind of the bumps and bruises of camp, but we feel good about their availability come this weekend.
That probably is where we just have to start with the whole conversation. Is they're going to practice on Saturday in Tiger Stadium. Media was originally invited to attend that practice. We have since been kicked out. I don't blame Brian Kelly. If he's really hammering down and getting ready for SC and he doesn't want the media there, I understand. We've had tons of access, and I'm very grateful for that. But you got to get your guys back healthy. Look, as you start to see guys absent, what's interesting is who replaces whom, and that kind of tells you where guys are in this pecking order. For example, with Miles Frazier out, Tyree Adams filled in at right guard. That tells you Tyree Adams is your 6th lineman right now. So, you know who your first 5 are. And we've seen Tyree Adams largely play left tackle backing up Will Campbell. And I think he's going to be your starting left tackle next year when Will Campbell leaves for the NFL. But you could take Bo Bordelon, who's been working at the second-team right guard, and put him there. But ultimately, if the goal is get your 5 best available guys on the field, they're telling you they think Tyree Adams is right there in that number. So 71, second-year player out of St. Aug. Brian Kelly talked about him last week, said he flashes, and he does. We see him in these one-on-one drills, and he stonewalls really good players, veteran players. You know, he'll lose reps as well, but they clearly feel Tyree Adams is their 6th best offensive lineman right now as he worked in at right guard with Miles Frazier out. With Sage Ryan out, J.K. Johnson took his place. I found that really interesting. So Sage Ryan, Ashton Stamps are your first 2, and there's been so much talk about P.J. Woodland, and with good reason. True freshman, early enrollee, played well in the spring, and has seen reps with the first team here in fall camp. I told you on Saturday in the 11-on-11 period, P.J. Woodland was getting reps with the ones and came up with an interception. The ball Nuss was trying to throw away when he was being pressured. Didn't get it far enough. Woodland made a beautiful grab, dragged his feet, and was in bounds. But J.K. Johnson clearly is the guy that has taken that spot. Told you last week we saw some nickel packages where actually Ashton Stamps came off, and it was J.K. Johnson that was in opposite Sage Ryan, who were your two cornerbacks in the nickel package. Jair Brown continues to work as the number one nickel. So some of this is sort of starting to work itself out. I also thought it was interesting that it was Devon Keys who replaced West Week. So think about it. You know who your first four are at linebacker. Blake Baker's talked about that pretty openly with Harold Perkins and Greg Penn, West Weeks, and Whit Weeks. Those are your first four. Well, Devon Keys was the next guy that replaced West Weeks in practice on Wednesday, so that's probably your next guy up should you need another linebacker. So we're just starting to get a feel for that. You know, what Brian Kelly said on Saturday when he met with reporters was, everybody you see out there are guys that they're preparing to play against USC. The ones in the twos and really guys that they're rotating in with the ones are all guys that in a pinch, a guy needs a blow. His chin strap breaks and you have to run somebody in there. Somebody turns an ankle, whatever the case may be. Somebody's having trouble covering, you need to go to the next guy. Whatever. Well, those guys you're seeing practice right now, so you're starting to get a feel for who the guys are that on Saturdays, or in this case Sunday, against USC, you'll know who you can count on. A couple of other things here from Brian Kelly. Blake Baker really said that Harold Perkins was on fire last week when Blake Baker met with reporters. Well, Brian Kelly was asked about Harold Perkins, and give a listen to how this went.
From your point of view, how is Perkins adjusted to moving back inside?
We're having a hard time blocking him, and we've got a pretty good offensive line. I think the best thing that I could say about a player, regardless of the position in which they play, is that he has elevated the players around him. I couldn't say that about Harold his first 2 years. He did not elevate the players around him. His play was elevated, right? At times it was outstanding. He is now entering into that category of elevating the players around him. That's a pretty good thing for Tiger fans.
That's amazing to hear, because the point that I've made about Harold Perkins last year, when a lot of people said Harold Perkins disappeared, I don't know that I necessarily agree that Harold Perkins disappeared. He had 5.5 sacks. He had 13 TFLs, identical. His number of tackles went up from 72 to 75. He had an interception. He had 6 pass breakups. He blocked a field goal. Like, Harold Perkins did a lot, but the defense stunk. I think what Brian Kelly's telling you there is Harold Perkins is doing a lot, and he's elevating everyone around him as well, so the defense will be better because of how and where he's playing. That should be music to your ears, because, listen, everyone's got Harold Perkins on their All-America list, and they should. He's a freak show. And again, he flashed last year. Harold Perkins stuffed the stat sheet. He was really good last year. The problem was it was largely muted and forgotten because the defense as a whole stunk. Well, Brian Kelly's telling you, they're all playing a lot better now. So good stuff there from Brian Kelly. One more, we'll do this really quickly. One more from Brian Kelly, basically on now that this is the last media availability. I'm going to play number 2, please. The last media availability, because we're not going to get to see him on Saturday in Tiger Stadium. At this point, from all we've seen through 17 practices, where is this team from day one to now?
I like where we're at in terms of our mindset and how we're preparing. Guys are starting to, really put some consistent days together. Like any time during camp, we get some guys with some ankles and foot injuries, nothing serious. But it gives our other guys that are key backups an opportunity to go in there and compete. And so we get a great look at some of the other guys that are going to have to be called upon at some time during the season to step in for us.
So a lot of those guys we've talked about here over these past couple days, LSU continues to count down to the opener against USC. Our show open every day brought to you by Bud Light. Drink easy in Louisiana with the great taste of Bud Light. Of course, you can go find the Mockler Beverage social media channels. You can always find out what's going on when they're hitting the road and got great events going on. Of course, they'll be having hits all over the area, all over South Louisiana coming up, where you can get those new 100-year Tiger Stadium 100-year Bud Light T-shirts, new LSU-themed Bud Light hats. Of course, Bud Light is the official beer of LSU, the official beer of the New Orleans Saints as well. So if you're cheering on the purple and gold, the black and gold, make sure you got plenty of ice-cold Bud Light. Drink easy with the great taste of Bud Light, the official beer of AFR. Let me knock out a break, y'all. Saints were on the practice field last night, Tuesday night at Ullman under the lights, and a quick turnaround as they were right back on the practice field early this afternoon at noon back at the Saints training facility. Dennis Allen gave an update after practice, and we continued to see an offensive line shuffle. A couple of starters returned. We're getting close, y'all. A lot of meat on the bone. We're talking about it all today. Glad you're here. It's AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by the Watermark Hotel and the Renaissance Hotel, two amazing hotel properties. Watermark Downtown, Renaissance there, Southtown. Of course, with the Renaissance, that's where you'll find the LSU Tigers the Friday before every home game. Be in Vegas next week, but the following week when Nichols is coming in that Friday night, the LSU Fighting Tigers, the players, the coaches, the entire organization, support staff, they'll all be at the Renaissance Hotel. So I say to you, if the Renaissance Hotel can host the LSU football team meals for more than 100 people, players, coaches, support staff, breakout meeting rooms by position group, of course, all the rooms for all the players and coaches as well. Of course, they can host your next event. So if you're having a work meeting, a function, a fundraiser from 12 people up to 500 people, the Renaissance Hotel is in the business of saying yes. So call my friend Allison Crump today to find out about having your next event at the Renaissance Hotel.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has back-to-school savings like $16,000 off 25 Ram 1500 trucks. We're open for business in our beautiful new showroom and taking $16,000 off. All new Bayou vehicles come with a complimentary extended warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
The best kept secret.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Plucker's Wing Bar, open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
Rev delivers our coverage live from Las Vegas starting Friday, August 30th with Off the Bench and After Further Review, and continuing Sunday, September 1st with Eagle 98.1 Game Day. Our coverage is also presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Watch us live on the 104.5 ESPN YouTube channel to kick off the 2024 LSU football season live from Las Vegas with Rev and 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
So since we last spoke, the Saints have had 2 practices. They practiced under the lights Tuesday night at Yulman Stadium, then came back for a noon practice at the practice facility on Wednesday. So those are both in the books. I'll try to encapsulate everything, including the high points. A continued shuffle on the offensive line. A couple of starters returning on Wednesday. But Dennis Allen after day 19, which was the night practice at Yulman.
We had a lot of fun out here. We got some good work done. Obviously it was a shells practice, so it wasn't, the same physicality with that we were, doing in a lot of those practices out in California. But it's good to be back. We're excited about being back, and we still got a lot of work to do, and that's what we're in the process doing now.
So you could hear all the excitement in the background. You could hear kids screaming, the autographs, the pictures are really cool, all the videos that came out. A really cool video that the Saints posted of Tyrann Mathieu giving his cleats. He was wearing like purple and gold LSU cleats, giving his cleats to a kid there, right there behind the partition watching, which is just awesome. This is the kind of thing, I don't mean to be like romantic and sentimental. I mean, God forbid I do that. But this is why the Saints fans love the Saints. There's sort of just this community love affair with that organization and the team that's almost unmatched relative to other NFL teams. Such a cool picture the Saints also posted on their social media of Tyrann Mathieu sitting on the bench, looking at the field, the sun setting off in the distance. Just a very, very cool moment. And you can do these types of things at a place in a city like New Orleans. That's not one of these giant, sprawling metropolitan areas where there are other allegiances. In New Orleans, it's the Saints. It's Saints is not 1A, 1B. It's Saints, and then you start to fill in everything after. So just a cool thing that they were able to do that. Now, for me, the highlight of the Tuesday night practice was probably an unorthodox highlight. How about a kicker booming a 65-yarder? Are you freaking kidding me? Charlie Smith booted a 65-yard field goal in practice at Yulman. And by the way, if you haven't seen the video, with room to spare, guesstimate for me. That good from 70?
Yeah.
68?
At least 68, but probably 70. I mean, was that halfway up the uprights when it went through?
I'm not so much interested how far up the uprights because it was descending. It's more where it landed, like where it crossed the crossbar. He cleared that thing by 3 to 5 yards. I mean, that would have been good 68 to 70. Boomed it. Incredible. And so Dennis Allen naturally was going to be fired up about his kicker hitting a 65-yarder, right, DA? You're fired up about that.
Yeah, it's nice to know that you can knock one in from 65. I think we kicked 6 in that deal, and I think he was 5 of 6, if I'm not mistaken. So I thought he kicked the ball really well in the practice environment. And look, he's a talented player. And yeah, I think being able to make one from 65, I think that's great. But we're not going to attempt a ton of 65-yarders. So it's really, to me, what are we really getting inside of 50? And the consistency in that range, because that's where a majority of the kicks are going to come.
I mean, he's not wrong. You're not going to attempt a bunch of 60-plus yard field goals. But damn, man, you go throw a wet blanket on that? Dude kicked a 65-yard field goal with room to spare, man. You can be a little pumped up about that. You got fans everywhere being excited and enjoying wonderment and merriment and all that good stuff. Yeah, I get it. There may only be a couple of times over the course of the season where you're going to attempt that distance of a field goal. So we fired up for it, man. In any event, by the way, Blake Grupe only attempted 9 field goals last year, 50 plus, and none of them was 60. So he didn't attempt any kicks that were 60 or beyond. That would likely change with Charlie Smith. And I would say this. If nothing else, that does change the math for you in end of half and end game scenarios. Early in the game, maybe you don't attempt a 65-yarder because you don't want to give your opponent the ball in plus territory, right? You don't want to give them the ball at your 45 if you miss it. But at the end of a half, now you know your target is, look, if we get out to our 40-45, we can at least take a shot, which is crazy to think. In any event, the real news, though, came on Wednesday at practice. And there were two sort of personnel notes of significance. One, and our buddy Mike Triplett noted this, I know others did on social as well, but Alvin Kamara and Paulson Adebo both returned to full team drills. Now, Lucas Patrick left early with the trainers, and that's a bummer. We'll get to the offensive line again here in a second. But Kamara and Adebo back is really significant. Obviously, we've talked about the cornerback injuries with Lattimore with the groin, Adebo having been out, and Kool-Aid McKinstry being injuring his knee in the preseason game against San Francisco this past Sunday. So 3 of your top 4 guys have been injured. It looks like McKinstry's going to be okay. I think we expect Lattimore is going to be back. He'd started doing work off to the side last week, at the end of the week in Irvine, and now Adebo is back to full practice. It's a line I love. Mike D said it forever. Practice is for the unskilled. When you got guys that you know are Sunday players, just get them to Sunday healthy. And it looks like that's what they're doing. And obviously, we've been looking a lot at the running backs as well. Whenever, when Dennis Allen was asked about the bubble and roster bubble guys, the guy he mentioned by name was running back Jordan Mims.
I've seen him do some good things for us, and I think he's in a battle to, be on the roster and be one of the 53, and I think, this week will be important for him, just like the other preseason games have been. No different than I think James Robinson's kind of in that same boat. Cabote's got to show us what he can do this week. So I think for a lot of these guys, there's some spots that we're still, evaluating, and so I think this is an important week for a lot of guys.
I'll be interested to see what they do at running back. Naturally, Kendre Miller is the one that we're seeing if he'll make it. But Jordan Mims has acquitted himself very nicely so far through camp, through a couple of preseason games. So not only necessarily as a back, but also as a guy that can return kicks and punts if you need him. And with the new kickoff rule being what it is, where you're going to see, we've seen in the preseason some 80% of the kickoffs returned, yes, that's going to matter for how you can win a roster spot. So another guy worth keeping an eye on. So Kamara and Adebo being back, significant news. The other part, as Mike noted there on the offensive line, Lucas Patrick, who's been running as the first-team left guard, replacing Nick Saldiveri, who had been injured, left with trainers. And then the shuffle continued on the right side. By the way, rookie Kyle Hergel is the one who replaced Lucas Patrick at left guard. So you've gone from Nick Saldiveri to Lucas Patrick, now to Kyle Hergel at left guard. But Oli Udoh and Trevor Penning continue to split time at right tackle. And let's start with the one about Oli Udoh, because this is so interesting. A guy that hasn't necessarily played great, but the fact that he's still getting reps with the ones is telling you Trevor Penning clearly hasn't won the job.
I think Oli's a guy that, as we've gone through and seeing a significant amount of snaps from him in training camp, which we didn't get an opportunity to see this spring, look, he's a guy that we want to take a look at that spot. And, those guys will compete, and we'll see what happens.
So still nothing decided there, and not just at right tackle, but remember, you came into camp with offensive line as your biggest question mark, because you knew coming into camp you had 2 definitive starters. You had Eric McCoy at center, and you had Cesar Ruiz at right guard. That was it. You knew those 2 guys in their spot. Everything else, you hope Taliese Fuanga wins the left tackle job. You hope Trevor Penning won the right tackle job. You hope Nick Saldiveri stuck at left guard. But Saldiveri's injured. Penning has still been a turnstile. Fuanga's injured right now. So here was DA Tuesday night on the offensive line competition.
I'm going to be really honest with you. I think we got 2 guys right now that I'd say, without a doubt, we know exactly what we're getting, and that's Caesar and Eric. I feel very comfortable that, Tolly's going to be fine over there on the left side, and I think we're still, evaluating the left guard, the right tackle. I saw some things that were improved out of Trevor this week, which was positive to see. I think this will be another great week for him to, maybe build some confidence off that performance.
One more preseason game, then it's roster cut down, then you're into game week. So you're running out of reps, running out of opportunities to figure this out. Now, a month in, just shy. No, you're just shy of a month in. I think it's today. Didn't they start on the 21st? I think it was. Anyway, from training camp, and you haven't settled those offensive line positions. So got a week to do it. See how it goes. All right, it's After Further Review. We're brought to you by Supper Club, supperclubbtr.com, supperclubbtr.com. Football season is here. They're reopened today. Remember, Tuesday to Saturday, Supper Club right there on Perkins Road in Baton Rouge. If you're coming in town for a game this year, make sure to get your reservations for dinner at Supper Club. Those Friday nights are going to be awesome at Supper Club. The Friday nights before football games, they're going to book. So if there's a game you're coming in town for, or if you live in Baton Rouge and you haven't been to Supper Club or are looking for a reason to go back, pick a Friday night. The Friday before UCLA, the Friday before Ole Miss, the Friday before Bama, whichever one it is. Pick a Friday night, get your reservations for Supper Club. But don't wait, because if you try to get reservations the week of, the day, it just ain't going to happen. They're going to book. So get your reservations now over at Supper Club. SupperClubBTR.com, SupperClubBTR.com. Great spot for a date night because, gents, you should always take your forever date on date nights. And great ways that they could have these beautiful little extras. If you want flowers at the table for her when you get there, Supper Club can help arrange that. If you want custom drink toppers to really go the extra mile for her to impress her, or if you're bringing a client, you want to impress your client by having their logo on the drink topper, they can do it. It's Supper Club. They go above and beyond. It's an experience unlike any other. SupperClubBTR.com, SupperClubBTR.com. Okay, it's After Further Review. We'll go around the SEC here in just a quick second. Taylor Calandro for Bourbon Dictionary in about 15 minutes. So get your booze questions in if you got them. You can email us, tweet us, or text us in the 225-396-4400, 396-4400, 396-4400. Lots of ways you can get involved in the show. And Justin Vincent's going to be here at the top of next hour. We've been doing this series, if you haven't been here, talking to former Tigers about that position group now. So we talked to Eddie Kennison about the receivers. We talked to Will Blackwell about offensive line. We had Big Fave to talk about the defensive line. We had Derry Beckwith here to talk about the linebackers. We had Brandon Taylor talking about the secondary. So we've checked a lot of those boxes. But excited to have JV here coming up in about 30 minutes from right now. Obviously works at LSU, knows this team well, has seen this team, knows these guys, knows Josh Williams and John Emery, who have been there, and then the two new younger guys that are there in a very limited room where you only have four scholarship backs. We'll talk about the running backs with JV coming up here in about 30 minutes from right now. Okay, y'all, we're not going to quick break and go around the SEC. It's AFR.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. Rouse's.com. Rouse's.com, no matter where you are, from Lake Charles to Orange Beach, Alabama, and points in between, there's a Rouse's near you. So find the Rouse's nearest you, or chances are you know where it is. So just pop on in tonight. If you're looking for dinner plans for the whole family, of course, Rouse's can help. If you're buying groceries on a budget, they can help. The Rouse's truckload sale is going on right now, so if you haven't taken advantage yet, would highly recommend that you do. You can get all the deals and all the specials online. How about this? Value pack bone-in sirloin pork roast for 96 cents a pound. It's incredible. You want to save on fresh catfish fillets, $5.99 a pound. You can get them right now. Things like Blue Ribbon ice cream pails for just $6.99 a gallon. It's all there at Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. Rouse's.com. Rouse's. This feels like home.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
When it comes to ending cancer, we push forward, always working together for you. That's why our cancer experts at Ochsner have clinically integrated with MD Anderson Cancer Center. This means advanced cancer care, including access to life-saving clinical trials and integrating care to treat the whole you. Introducing Ochsner MD Anderson Cancer Center. Long live you.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Plucker's Wing Bar, open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all you can eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
The SEC, at long last, has announced the tiebreakers for the SEC football championship. Of course, you don't have divisions anymore. There was a long-standing set of tiebreakers in the division. With divisions, well, now you have no divisions, just the top 2 teams. Well, what if you have 6 teams? Let's say Georgia goes 12-0, they're 8-0 in the league, and then you have 5 teams that are all 6-2 in the conference. Well, how do you determine the tiebreaker? If you're interested, we got the story up at louisianasports.net. If you want to go read about it, it's up there. We got the Twitter link, the Facebook link out as well, and the story's up at the website if you want to read through it all. I guess we can run through very quickly what those tiebreakers are. The first and most obvious, of course, is head-to-head competition, and that would be a really simple scenario if it could actually play out that way. It's why I continue to say I think LSU's most significant game is probably that home game against Ole Miss, because there's a really strong possibility that you could both end up, say, 6-2 in the league, and head-to-head in that game is going to matter and to break that tie. So head-to-head is the first tiebreaker, no surprise there. Then record against all common conference opponents among the tied teams. So if LSU, Alabama, Ole Miss, Tennessee all end up tied, Oklahoma, whatever, your record against those teams would be the second tiebreaker if head-to-head doesn't work. Third would be your record against the highest placed common conference opponent in the conference standings, and then proceeding through the conference standings among the tied teams. Hopefully it doesn't get beyond this, but after that, then it becomes the cumulative conference winning percentage of all conference opponents among the tied teams. So they would take, like if LSU, Bama, and Ole Miss were all tied hypothetically, you take LSU's opponents' winning percentages, Ole Miss's opponents' winning percentages, Bama's opponents' winning percentage, and then whoever had the highest combined winning percentage of opponents, it would go there. Hopefully it doesn't go back to that, past that, but if it did, it would cap relative total scoring margin versus all conference opponents. Basically, that's going to encourage blowouts. And that sucks, but we've seen this in international play, like in the Olympics as well in basketball, where total points and margin of victory and things like that do matter for seeding and potential tiebreakers. So it's one of those things where if you're playing Vanderbilt the second to last week of the season, and it looks like you may end up in a tie that's tough to break, you may have to just go rout them. Like you may have to go score 100 because you can, because you need to. So that may, I'm curious from a betting perspective, lend to more overs, more individual team total overs because of that. And then after that, it would just be a random draw of the tied teams. So, I think it's unavoidable. With 16 teams and an 8-game conference schedule, you're going to have to break ties. I don't know. I think that's unavoidable. So we'll see how far down that list they end up going. All right. It's after further review. Glad to have you hanging out with us here. We're brought to you by Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. Windows, doors, siding. Oh, yeah, they do indoor shutters as well. It's Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. Energy-efficient replacement windows, beautiful entry doors, hardy plank, vinyl siding. They do shutters. So all those things, but as Brandon Holly always says, their number one product is customer satisfaction. Hey, look, I know I say it to you often, but if you're just shopping price, don't call Relief Windows because they're not going to be the cheapest. If you're just calling around to see who's going to give you the best price, don't bother because they're not going to be the cheapest. But at Relief Windows, what they will do is deliver an exceptional product. They'll offer a lifetime transferable warranty on labor, material, and glass breakage, meaning sell your home. The people that buy it, they break a window, Relief Windows will come replace it for free. Who else does that? Nobody. And they never take $1 until they're done and you're thrilled. It's Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. That's why. They are the Southeast leading window installer. It's Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. Okay, do it every day about this time. Let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, bringing you the biggest news from the nation's best conference, the Oklahoma Sooners.
Well, Shea Dixon told us on Tuesday to expect this, but 5-star offensive tackle Michael Fasusi out of Texas has spurned the Longhorns and the Aggies. He has picked the Oklahoma Sooners. He's the number 12 overall prospect in the country for 2025, the number 3 offensive tackle, 6'5", 299. He's the 23rd commit for OU's class of 25.
The Missouri Tigers.
Missouri wide receiver Theo Weiss Jr. has been arrested for failure to appear in court. Didn't appear for a court dating back to a ticket he received in May for not wearing his seatbelt. Weiss was released on bond at the time. Was not the one charged for what was originally a traffic stop. He's entering his 6th season of college football, originally a member of the 2019 class, caught 49 passes for 682 yards and 6 scores a year ago.
The Vanderbilt Commodores.
Clark Lee confirmed Tyler Fortenberry no longer a part of Vanderbilt's football program. He was getting ready for his first season in Nashville after transferring in from junior college. Fortenberry spent 2 years at Copiah Lincoln before transferring to Vandy. Started out as a quarterback, then turned into a tight end, a pass-catching tight end. Was a 3-star recruit coming out of JUCO, the number 130 player overall, the 6th best tight end. But his time at Vandy's done before it starts.
The Arkansas Razorbacks.
And Bobby Petrino going home again, of course. He's going to call plays for Arkansas this year from the sidelines. Former Razorback head coach confirmed that on Tuesday. He won't be in the press box like he was last year at Texas A&M. He'll be field level to call plays. Said he likes the helmet communication for another reason that he wants to be on the field so he can communicate better with his quarterback. Okay, there you have it. That is Around the SEC. We're glad to have you aboard with us here. Hump Day shows brought to you by Pluckers. Trivia tonight and every Wednesday at both Pluckers locations, Nicholson and Bluebonnet. Dining, carry out, or delivery Pluckers. You like our wings. We'll give you the bird. All right, let me knock out a break. We'll come back. It'll be Bourbon Dictionary. Taylor Calandro will be here. Got booze questions? Get them in. You can email us, tweet us, or text us in the 225-396-4400, 396-4400, 396-4400. Lots of ways you can get involved in the show. Get your booze questions in for Taylor. That's next. It's AFR.
AFR.
Buying or selling, commercial or residential. You need a realtor. You need Darren James. And by the way, you do need a realtor. Told you this stat over the course of the many years I've had the pleasure to talk about Darren James. But 73% of people that list their home for sale by owner end up hiring a realtor. There's a lot of different reasons for that. Maybe it's pricing. You don't know how to properly price your home. Maybe it's just the mountains of paperwork that you're not familiar with. Maybe you're just not home enough to handle all of the showings when people want to see your house, so you miss out on showing appointments. It'll never happen with Darren James. Darren James on the Wall Street Journal lists the top 1% of realtors in America. And by the way, you know anybody that markets their properties more than Darren James like this one? Christina Avenue in Prairieville, open house this Sunday from 2 to 4. Beautiful home. Check it out online at agent225.com.
Think real estate, think Darren James.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
It's an everyday thing here. We work horses in the mornings and we work on the property during the day, and without these John Deere tractors, you know, it'd almost be impossible to keep up with the place. I've dealt with some of the other colors and stuff, and I never really got the response back that I get from John Deere, you know. We really enjoy dealing with Sunshine. They're good people. They always check on us and make sure our equipment's running, and we love them. Flip the switch and learn more about what it means to be powered by Sunshine at sunequip.com.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Plucker's Wing Bar, open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
They're the gang with the slang. This is Bourbon Dictionary with Matt Moscona and Taylor Calandro.
All right, wrapping up hour number 1. Time to talk booze. Pretty fired up. Starting to see some Easter eggs out there in the wild. Hunting season's beginning. I'm not talking about deer or other things that y'all shoot with guns. I'm talking about whiskey hunting. The real hunting season. Taylor Calandro is with us. How are you, dude?
I'm good, Matt. I like to shoot animals, though.
I like to eat animals. I don't really care to shoot them. I'm not saying I am certainly for everybody's right to shoot them so I can eat them. But I just don't really care to sit in a stand and freeze and wait for something to walk by so I could shoot it.
You're a good man, Matt.
Well, yeah, I don't know. It's just whatever. I don't know if it makes me good or bad. I just have better things I think to do with my time. And you know my feeling on this as well. Oh man, I'm gonna get. And you know what's gonna happen right now because I've already derailed the segment, Taylor. I'm gonna get people crushing me for not getting to the questions. You always derail the segment with Taylor. You never ask all the questions. I'm sorry. It's just what happens.
Sorry.
Have you ever heard my take on this with Terrio before?
I have heard you rant about hunting with Terrio before.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's not. You're not skilled. It's not a challenge. There's an unsuspecting animal that you lure in with food. You sit in a friggin' stand. You got a friggin' gun with a scope. You can shoot from 200 yards away. Like a 7-year-old could do that. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm glad you're doing it because I like to eat the things that you kill. But don't sit here and try to hang the friggin' deer head on the wall like you accomplished something great. I got an idea. Get your ass out the stand, pick up a stick, go fight the deer and kill it, then put it on your wall. Then I got some respect for what you did.
Well, I absolutely agree. I'm a duck hunter, so.
Same thing.
Anyway.
I'm sure you're going to tell me how hard it is to kill a duck when you shoot a bullet that sprays pellets within like a 30-foot radius, so you shoot anything around it. Tell me how hard that is.
You need way more than 10 minutes.
Oh, my God. So stupid. Yeah. I'll tell you what. How about you sneak up on a duck, grab it by the neck and kill it, and then eat it? And then I'm impressed by what you did.
All right. That sounds like a deal. Tell Terrio to do that. I could see him doing something like that.
No, he wouldn't do that.
Weirdo.
All right, let's get to some questions. But before we do that, what's new?
We got a new release from Maker's Mark. It's part of their wood finishing series. It's called the Heart Release, H-E-A-R-T, Heart Release. We got it last week. We got a couple cases last week, and they blew out on Friday. We got another case today. It's one of 5 of a series that they're doing. I haven't got to try it. I have read 20 reviews online that are all like really, 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 really good. Like this is one of the best Maker's Mark products that's been put out. So it's $80.
Is the thing in the black box?
It's not in a box. It's just it's a plain.
I'm trying to find it on the internet, on Twitter.
Just Maker's Mark Heart Release.
H-E-A-R-T?
H-E-A-R-T.
I did. It's not there. Not on Twitter anyway.
It's at Calandro's on Perkins.
That's where you need to go then if you're interested. Is it good?
But yeah,
it's
a taller bottle. Like it's a square, traditional looking Maker's bottle, not like the 46. But it's a little taller.
Okay.
And it's an old school looking label too. I really like it. But like I said, the reviews that I've read, I wish I could try it. I haven't got to try it because we sold it. But the reviews are crazy good.
Okay, there it is right there. The Heart Release 2024, caramel, chocolate, maple. Ooh, interesting notes. Well, good deal. Are you starting to get any allocated stuff in? I've been hearing people have been dropping me little nuggets on the text line that they're finding some allocated stuff out in the wild right now.
Yeah, I mean that Maker's is allocated for sure. It'll be gone before the end of the day. I would expect by the end of the week we'll have some more allocated stuff. That's all I'm going to say.
Okay, let's get some questions here. You can email us, tweet us, or text us, 225.
Did you feel the chill in the air, Matt, this morning? That means whiskey's coming.
Who's derailing who now? But by the way, I did. I went to work out this morning. I was walking out of Hot Works at about 6 a.m., whatever time it was, and I went, oh, what is this sorcery? I mean, it was incredible to walk outside and feel that today. I know.
Sorry.
Amazing.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, but I just want people to know that it's your fault this time, not mine.
I'll take full responsibility.
All right, ask Taylor, which Penelope should I go with next? Architect, Rosé Cask, or Barrel Strength? I've only had the original.
Oh, man, I love the Rosé. I love the first Architect, and the Barrel Proof's awesome. If I had to pick between the three, probably Rosé. I love the Rosé.
Greg Lehman, ask Taylor, what whiskey are you most looking forward to dropping this fall?
This Maker's release, I was really looking forward to. Always looking forward to the antiques. I haven't really heard or seen anything new as far as like different releases yet this fall, but this is about the time when we start getting filled in on what's coming. So I'll be able to answer that question soon.
All right. Ask Taylor, any new seasonal beers?
I'm trying to think if we got anything. We're getting some Deschutes in tomorrow.
Ooh, what is that?
Deschutes is a brewery from, and I'm going to be wrong about this, Oregon, I think. I can't remember. I think they're from Oregon. But they've been around for a long time, one of the original craft beer people. But we're going to be getting some of that stuff tomorrow. Craft beer people will be familiar with Deschutes.
What type of beer is that? I'm trying to find it.
I think what we're getting is an IPA, and I think it's a stout too that's coming tomorrow. I can't remember off the top of my head, but I think it's IPA and a stout. I know it's an IPA.
John, just before the gun here, ask Calandro, what whiskey should you and T-Bob shoot at Don Juan to start the USC game?
See if they have Beyonce's whiskey wherever y'all are.
Well, see, this is what John is missing. So, number one, I'm never going to shoot whiskey ever. Number two, I'm not going to be at Don Juan. We're going to be in Las Vegas for the USC game.
I'm going to find you and T-Bob, and we're going to take a shot. I'm going to make you take a shot.
Are you going to Las Vegas?
I will be there, Matt.
Okay. I don't think we've talked about this. If we did, my apologies. I've talked to a lot of people about Las Vegas.
No, I don't think we have, but yes, I will be there.
All right, looking forward to it. I won't do a shot with you, but I'll let you buy me a very expensive glass of whiskey.
You will do a shot with me and T-Bob.
Taylor Calandro, see ya.
Bye.
All right, Justin Vincent joins us to start hour number 2 next.
AFR.
Brought to you by Shawbills Tire and Auto Service. ShawbillsTire.com, ShawbillsTire.com. I had a little birdie tell me Shawbills may have some really, really good news coming around the bend here in just a little bit. But it's going to speak to what I've said for years now and what they have lived since 1968. They treat people like family. Yes, you can buy tires a lot of places. Now, they're going to sell you the best tires at the cheapest price. As a matter of fact, today I was recording new commercials that you'll start to hear in rotation. Whenever they get their new specials in, they send those to me. I record them. So I get to see and actually read about those specials every single month. So, yeah, they're going to sell you the best tires on the road at the cheapest price possible. But most importantly, at Shawbills, they're going to treat you like family. And when someone treats you great and does great work at a fair price, you'll be loyal. And that's how they've built their business since 1968. So, car's broken down, you just need an oil change, tires rotated, you need to buy new tires, you need to go to the best. You need Shawbills. ShawbillsTire.com. Shawbills, we keep you rolling.
Bayou Chrysler's Dodge Jeep Ram has back-to-school savings like $16,000 off 25 Ram 1500 trucks. We're open for business in our beautiful new showroom and taking $16,000 off. All new Bayou vehicles come with a complimentary extended warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
It's an everyday thing here. We work horses in the mornings and we work on the property during the day, and without these John Deere tractors, it'd almost be impossible to keep up with the place. I've dealt with some of the other colors and stuff, and I never really got the response back that I get from John Deere, We really enjoy dealing with Sunshine. They're good people. They always check on us and make sure our equipment's running, and we love them. Flip the switch and learn more about what it means to be powered by Sunshine at sunequip.com.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared toward seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
There's nothing chill about a hot, sweaty line. Unless you add Mountain Cold Refreshment. Coors Light. Choose chill.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. It's Bo time for the Broncos. They named rookie Bo Nix their starting quarterback. He'll be Denver's first rookie to start the regular season opener since John Elway more than 4 decades ago. ESPN NFL analyst Booger McFarland.
You go back to the workout where Sean Payton gave him the playbook the night before. He comes out the next day, and he can basically regurgitate the playbook. He goes out, makes all the throws. We knew this was trending toward this months ago, and so for Sean Payton to come out and take all the suspense out of it, I think it's good for the organization. It's good for Bo Nix. Now let's see if he can perform once the ball is kicked off for real in a couple of weeks.
The Broncos open up the season September 8th in Seattle. Steelers quarterback Russell Wilson said he expects to play in Saturday's preseason finale against Detroit. He and Justin Fields competing for the starting job. Basketball Hall of Famer Al Attles, one of the first black head coaches in the NBA, who coached the 1975 NBA champion Warriors and spent more than 6 decades with the organization, has died at the age of 87. Nebraska named true freshman Dylan Raiola its starting quarterback.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ, Chris Candy, coming up Thursday, AFC North, NFC North, and NFC West. I'll tell you which division is clearly the best in football. It's Unsportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge Studios.
That's right.
Hour 2, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR, presented by Pluckers. I'm Matt.
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
Paul O'Neal.
They're chanting Paul O'Neal's name.
And Mr. Toby Tom Blake. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. We'll chat with Ross Jackson 1 hour from right now. He was at Ullman Stadium covering the Saints last night. He was out at the Saints practice facility covering practice today. So we'll get a check-in 1 hour from right now. We've been kind of making our way through this series talking to former Tiger greats about their current position group. And one we haven't checked off yet is the running back position. A few better to talk to than former Tiger great Justin Vincent, now, of course, with the Tiger Athletic Foundation. JV's always good enough to give us a couple of minutes. How are you, man?
I'm doing great.
Hey, man, last year, the conversation about LSU and the running backs when they had 8 was, man, they got too many. Now you got 4. Is that enough?
Oh, 100%. I think it's enough. I mean, LSU through the tail of time, they've done that in the past. You know, you can go back to when LeBrandon Tofield, Dominic Davis, you know, Sharon and Joe, you know, and then go to me, Allie, Joe, and Sharon. And then you slide in Barrington Edwards, then he ends up leaving, then you bring in Keelan Charles, and so then Jacob moves over to running back from fullback. So there's always room for 4. I think 8 is a lot.
Yeah. 8 was challenging to figure out how you're going to make that work. I know you know these guys, the 4 that they have, and I'd like to ask you maybe a thought on each of them. And one thing that's pretty clear, JV, is Brian Kelly has said from the first time he talked to us in spring, they know what they got in Josh Williams, and they just got to get him to Saturdays because they're going to use him. Is Josh Williams capable of being a lead back in the SEC? I guess what I mean, like, is can he shoulder 200 carries this year if that's what they ask him to do?
100%. I think Josh is more than capable. You know, he showed such resiliency. You know, coming in as a preferred walk-on, earning a scholarship spot, leading the Tigers in rushing last year. Does a heck of a job in the pass pro because, you know, you can get anybody to play running back. But when it comes to catching the ball and learning, you know, who to call out the mic, who you got first spot declared, to blocking any secondary defender, he does it all. So I think what he brings to the table, people may be kind of skeptical on his speed, but I can live with the 20 to 30-yard runs, and we'll hope for the 60 and 70 ones.
You know, it's interesting, too, JV, because you're right. You know what you get with Josh Williams. He's going to protect the football. He's going to run with aggression between the tackles. He can catch the ball. He can block. He does all the things that you said. And then you look at, like, the shiny new toy in Caleb Jackson, who so very clearly that, like, even an idiot like me can look at him and go, okay, that just looks different than most dudes that roll through here. Like, how do you balance the certainty of Josh Williams and the upside of a guy like Caleb Jackson?
Well, I mean, you know, somebody like that, you know he's got to get his touches. You know, you're going to find a way to get it to him, and you're going to get it to him early, because I think Caleb is a guy, and the running back has always been a position where you got to give him the ball. Like, you got to get some – you can't just get in there and be a decoy. You got to get hit. They got to get comfortable with seeing, you know, what they're seeing and not, not making up stuff as they go. So I think getting him active early, whether it's the second series or whether it's a long first series or what it is, to give Josh a spell, he has to get some touches. But I think once you get that machine oiled up, you know, we'll see the Caleb Jackson that everybody hopes to see.
Do you envision a certain role for John Emery this year?
Yeah, you know, I see John as somebody who delivered for us when we needed him to last year. And hopefully, you know, coming off this ACL tear, he looked good. I went out to practice a little bit this morning, but it's a little too warm for my liking. I didn't get a chance to see too much. Yeah, I didn't get a chance to see too much, but I've heard good stuff. You know, I talk to Coach Frank periodically, and, you know, he likes what he's seeing. You know, he's you know, kind of going in the right direction as far as rehab and trusting his leg, and that's somebody else that you can also give an opportunity to as well.
Yeah, it's different when you have to be out there and when you're choosing to be out there. When you're playing,
no question,
you got to be out there. But yeah, no. Justin Vincent is our guest now at the Tiger Athletic Foundation. By the way, fill everybody in. I know there's been a lot of exciting stuff going on with TAF and obviously with Bayou Traditions as well. What's the latest there, man? Give us an update.
Yeah, you know, so obviously we are housing some things for the collective. You know, people can donate to TAF and get through the collective, and get points, priority points that's directed towards, you know, purchasing tickets and parking and whatnot. It gives some incentive, because there's a lot of people who are kind of on the fence with NIL. It's kind of this is that low hanging fruit that you can give and get something in return. So we've seen an uptick on some things on our end. And hopefully it'll continue in that direction, because it can't do anything but help us.
Yeah. Tiger Athletic Foundation, of course, you can go to TAF. LSUTAF.org is the website, LSUTAF.org, if you want to learn more. The one guy I didn't mention is the freshman that's coming in. And, you know, JV, look, you're a guy that we all know had the amazing freshman season. Like, you had a lot thrown upon your shoulders early, and you ended up having a freshman All-America season, helping pace LSU to a national championship. Like, I don't know that that's in the cards for Caden Durham, but who's to say it's not, because you don't know what circumstances could arise. So if you're advising a young guy like that who's that talented but is running fourth right now, what do you tell him about staying ready?
Be patient, man. One thing I've learned, throughout my football career, especially when I got to LSU, you're not really a backup. You're a starter in waiting. So prepare like it. Go about your business like it. Pay attention to detail. So then when you do get your opportunity, you can capitalize on your opportunity, because they may few and far in between, and you want to get out there and not know what you're doing. They can't trust you. So stay in the playbook, stay focused, try to go make a name for yourself on special teams or whatever it may be, just so you can be involved. But just stay ready. You're never a backup. You're just a starter in waiting.
Caden Durham, of course, a lot of people excited whenever his day does in fact come. JV, obviously the single biggest question, this is probably where we should have led, but instead we'll finish with it. But you're replacing an 1,100-yard rusher at quarterback, which is just absurd to think. How do you replace Jaden Daniels' production?
To be honest with you, you don't. You got a Heisman Trophy winner. You don't replace Heisman Trophy winners. Fortunately for us, we had an opportunity to replace one, but that's like an anomaly. That doesn't really happen, right? But on a regular basis, hopefully these guys can combine themselves and kind of supplement some of those things. But when you got a quarterback who's throwing the way he's throwing the touchdowns, and he's spreading the ball around, everybody's getting some love, and then it's gone, and they're not going to get that out of Nuss. I'm sorry to bust your bubble. Nuss can run, but he's not Jade. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
So hopefully, they can distribute the ball well enough and run the ball well enough with that kind of that senior-led and offensive line, and get some pressure off his back, and he can throw the ball down the field.
Yeah, I sat with Nuss at SEC Media Days, and he talked about being fortunate to learn from Jaden Daniels. I said, did he teach you how to run for 1,100 yards? He just busted out laughing. I mean, it's something we may never see again from the quarterback position here at LSU. But last thing, since you brought up the offensive line, when you have a unit that's that veteran and is that good, what is it like for this running back room, knowing they're running behind that line? Like, I mean, you got to run behind some phenomenal All-America caliber players. When you have that in front of you, what's it like as a running back?
It's a dream come true. I mean, that's something that, every running back, every quarterback, would dream of, especially at a college situation. You got some guys, whether they're seniors or not, that have a lot of snaps, a lot of starts behind their belt, have seen, majority of the SEC plays, have gone against guys and been victorious. It gives you confidence to run the ball with ability and know that they're going to do what they're supposed to do. And hopefully you make the correct reads and do the things you're supposed to do so you can hit your head on the goalpost.
Former Tiger great Justin Vincent. You can be in Vegas, I'm sure, yeah?
You already know.
All right, man. We'll have to find you. We'll smoke a stick out there, something like that, man. Got to connect.
I'm all for it, man. Just let me know.
I'll be there, man. We'll look forward to seeing you out in Vegas, man. All the best. Safe travels.
You too. Bye-bye. Thanks.
We appreciate it. Justin Vincent, national champion, now working with Taft. Of course, spent time on staff under Ed Ogeron as well. Guy who's stayed really closely connected to the program, knows the players as well. So always good to get JV's perspective. I think the big question, aside from the obvious of replacing Jaden Daniels, is Josh Williams. And if they are, in fact, going to use Josh Williams as their pace car, how does he hold up? JV said, Josh Williams led you in rushing. Remember, it was actually Logan Diggs. I mean, among the running backs, it was actually Logan Diggs. So it's a name that we have seldom talked about here in this fall camp so far. But he was your guy. That was your best guy last year. Of course, tore his ACL in the bowl game and is now at Ole Miss. But whoever it is that gets the lion's share of carries is going to be doing that for the first time in their career, because Josh Williams he's never had 100 carries in a season. So what does it look like when he does? A big unknown. Maybe one of the few, maybe the only real unknown on this offense. All right, it's after further review. Hump Day shows are brought to you by Pluckers. Speaking of that offensive line, Field Yates over at ESPN put out a mock draft today, and of course Will Campbell and Emory Jones. If you could combine the two of them, imagine how great a player that would be. Will Campbell and Emory Jones are both in the first round. Where they're going, though, may surprise you. A little bit of a hint there. We'll talk about it next. AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by Duplessis Builders, duplessisbuilders.net, duplessisbuilders.net. Last Friday, I was over at the new showroom, y'all. Duplessis Builders on Airline Highway in Gonzales. If you're going south, get into Gonzales. It's on the right, actually right next to the Rouse's. Big, beautiful red fleur-de-lis. You can't miss it. When you walk in, it's gorgeous. They have a very large putting green in the middle of the showroom as well, so you can putt. They can do turf and putting greens for you at your outdoor spaces if you'd like. They have a full-on spa inside, so you want to see the jets, all the tiling, the coping. They got all of it there. So what they want for you is to come into the showroom, and they'll hold your hand and help you build and help you design your pool, your spa, your outdoor kitchen. They don't want to just design it, just show you what they're going to do. They want you to be a part of the process and feel great and feel ownership about what you're building. And, of course, they're going to build you a beautiful product. And every pool comes with a 10-year workmanship warranty when the industry standard is one. DuplessisBuilders.net.
Back to school savings at Bayou Ford. $12,000 off F-150. $12,000 off the new 2024 Ford F-150. And $10,000 off Expedition. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a complimentary extended warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
It's no secret, the best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
When it comes to ending cancer, we push forward, always working together for you. That's why our cancer experts at Ochsner have clinically integrated with MD Anderson Cancer Center. This means advanced cancer care, including access to life-saving clinical trials and integrating care to treat the whole you. Introducing Ochsner MD Anderson Cancer Center. Long live you.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
At Relief Windows, we're more than windows. We're windows, doors, hardy plank, and vinyl siding. But our #1 product is always customer satisfaction.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Plucker's Wing Bar, open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
Oh, Muse, I haven't looked at the questions yet today. Let's see what we got.
All right. Little theme. Maybe a little theme action there.
Let's see.
Did you get some today, or?
Oh, here they are.
Okay.
Yep, yesterday.
Oh, ahead of the game, Stevie Levy.
Oh. Okay. Yeah. No, for sure.
Okay.
Maybe.
All right.
Maybe. And what was your major?
Broadcast journalism.
Oh. What was your minor?
History.
Okay. You got a shot. You got a shot at 2. One of them you should get.
Okay.
Then, if you're a history minor, one of them you
now
should
he's gonna
get.
put the pressure on me.
Ah. Well, I was a religious studies minor. So I don't know. Like, you could ask me about, like, Eastern religions, and I probably wouldn't get it.
I was about to say, there's some history in there, too, though.
It's been a minute, though.
Yeah.
You know, it's been a long time, and I haven't really stayed sharp in that focus in any event. All right, Muse is will dazzle us with his trivia knowledge here in about an hour and 10 minutes. He's going to get them all wrong. I know he will, because that's what he does all the time. Oh, it's 4:19. Oh, Paulie. Remember the break when I was telling Muse when he was yawning? I was like, hey, stand up, man. Get the blood flow, get the energy up. Remember that?
I do.
You know why he wouldn't stand up?
What is that?
Look what time it is.
Oh, you got about 30 seconds.
What does it have to do with anything?
I just think maybe you were hiding something under the desk you didn't want me to see. It's why you were staying sitting.
You can see under the desk from where
got
you're
monitors.
sitting.
Look at that. Look, that's my view right there on the screen that everybody's watching. Can't see anything.
Yes, you can.
No, you can't. From where I'm seeing the ledge of my desk, I see the top of yours is all his monitors. I know what you got back there. Baked goods or gummies today?
I mean, if you sat up straight, you could see.
I am sitting
there.
up straight.
I mean, there's no blockage. There's no front to this desk.
That's why he likes being in that corner over there.
Makes sense. That makes sense. That is why I like to sit over there in the corner. And look, they keep stacking monitors. Like, how unnecessary, Paulie, is that monitor on top? He's got 4 monitors over there. Who needs, or does he have 5? He's got 5. One of them's turned off. Is one of them turned off?
What?
To his right. Is that a monitor over there? No?
No.
Okay. It's just a shadow then. No. From here, it looks like there's another one. Anyway, so he's got 4 monitors, huh?
Yes.
Like he needs all that.
They've always been here. We haven't added anything since the studio opened.
On to your game over there, Muse. 4:20. It's your time. Muse, it's your time.
It's not my time.
Muse, it's your time.
It's not my time.
It is your time. it's your day, and it's your time, Muse. This is it. You go make the most of it. I'm gonna do a radio segment, and you go have your fun, and we'll catch you on the flip side. All right?
I'm going to be right here the whole time. But okay.
Fair enough. Okay, it's after further review. Field Yates put out a mock draft. I don't love mock drafts. I just think they're interesting for 2 reasons. Number one, to see maybe where your team is kind of projected to pick-ish. And then from the flip side, what players from the school you might cheer for are projected, thought to be, maybe first-round picks. So Field Yates, it's obviously very early. He's got a mock draft out. By the way, he's got a very heavy SEC flair. Carson Beck going number 1 overall to the Giants. He projects New England to have the worst record and to pick first, but to trade that pick to the Giants and take Carson Beck. And then 1 pick later, he's got the Panthers being terrible again and taking James Pierce, of course, the great edge rusher from Tennessee. So Beck, Pierce, 1-2 for Field Yates. I was a little interested to see this. Field Yates does have an offensive lineman, a tackle going 3 overall, but it's not Will Campbell. He's got Kelvin Banks, the offensive tackle from Texas, going 3, so ahead of Will Campbell. Shadur Sanders, the Colorado quarterback, going 4 to the Titans. Michael Williams, the edge from Georgia, 5 to the Commanders. Will Johnson, 6 to New England. Mason Graham, the defensive tackle out of Michigan, to the Vikings. There's Quinn Ewers off the board, 8 to the Raiders. That would be an interesting pick. I'm very high on Quinn Ewers. I think a lot of you know that. Nick Scourton, the edge from Texas A&M at 9. And then how about number 10? There's Will Campbell coming off the board at number 10. Coming off the board at number 10 to your New Orleans Saints. First of all, I'd be pumped for Will Campbell if he ends up going top 10. I think that's certainly realistic. Goes and has a really good season. He's an elite prospect. He'll make a ton of money, and I think provided he stays healthy, he'll have a great long career wherever he goes. I would be so torn if the Saints ended up taking Will Campbell at number 10 for a couple of reasons. Number one, I'd be torn. I'd be very excited that Will Campbell would be playing for the Saints. And actually, the last LSU player Saints drafted was Will Clapp, so an offensive lineman from Louisiana whose name was Will, and his last name started with a C. So some synergies there, right? Look at Muse. Muse. Is the fog clearing? Is the haze clearing, and that's making sense?
Well, there was no fog. It's just
a bit of a haze.
Interesting little
brain fog.
No.
Brain fog?
No.
Oh, it made you sharper? It's making you sharper?
Just here like normal.
Yeah, it is pretty normal for you.
No, it's not.
That's true. Paulie loves it. If I didn't have Paulie as my audience just laughing every time.
Audience of one.
I may not do it. It doesn't matter. Oh, man. Okay, so back to the point. I would love it if Will Campbell were a New Orleans Saint, because I'd love to see him play for my favorite team. That would be awesome. The part about that would suck would be if the Saints drafted Will Campbell, there would have to be a couple of realities that would be true. Taliesin Fuanga wouldn't work out at left tackle. Because if he proves this year that he's a franchise left tackle, then you're not drafting another franchise left tackle. If you draft Will Campbell to be your left tackle and move Taliesin Fuanga to right tackle, that means Trevor Penning didn't work out at right tackle. Now, I think there's a very probably better than good chance that that's what happens. I think a lot of us have given up on Trevor Penning. I know I'm not in the category of thinking he's going to figure it out and become a starting caliber tackle in this league. I think Trevor Penning now in year 3, still struggling the way he is. I think he is at best a guard. I think he is a physical point of attack run blocker, and I think he could be a good starting guard in the NFL. But you drafted him with the idea of him being your franchise left tackle, and that's just not going to work out. So now you've drafted Taliesin Fuanga with that intention, and are you really going to then go back to the well again for an offensive tackle? I would hope not. But if that's what the circumstance necessitates, that's just what it would be. So we'll continue to follow that, but whether it's Will Campbell or somebody else, if the Saints are looking offensive tackle at number 10 overall, that would be a bummer. Travis Hunter, 11 to Seattle. Again, this is Field Yates' mock draft. Benjamin Morrison, the cornerback from Notre Dame, 12 to Tampa. McMillan, the wide receiver from Arizona, to Pittsburgh at 13. Malachi Starks, who we interviewed at SEC Media Days, the All-American safety from Georgia, 14 to the Colts. Denzel Burke, the cornerback from Ohio State, 15 to Jacksonville. And then you have the next LSU Tiger come off the board, and it's offensive lineman Emory Jones. Hey, Muse, where did Emory Jones play his high school football, by the way?
Catholic High School.
There it is. 16. So that's the highest I think I've seen Emory in a mock draft. And boy, that would be something. I mean, it goes without saying, I'm sure you understand this, but LSU has never had 2 offensive linemen go in the first round in the same draft ever. And they haven't had a first round pick since on the offensive line since Alan Faneca in the 1998 draft. So it has been a long time since LSU, it's been never since they've had a tandem like this with Campbell and Jones, which is why I think you can make a very compelling case that this is LSU's best or certainly most talented offensive line ever. And then one other in round 1, it's Harold Perkins going 23 overall to the Houston Texans. Perkins will be so fascinating this year. Such a fascinating test case. Because if he pops off again, he's a guy that has top 10 potential in the draft. Athletically, he's a first rounder no matter what. But how high can he climb? He feels like he's got a lot of dollars he could make this season. If you're wondering, so that's 3 projected first rounders in this mock draft by Field Yates. Will Campbell, Emory Jones, Harold Perkins. In LSU football history, do you know how many times LSU has had 3 or more first-round picks in the same draft?
Oh, man, I looked this up earlier this year, actually.
Paul, he sounds a little, I don't know.
Is it 4? Or 4 times?
No. Paul, you want to guess?
I'll say 3.
No. 6. Who could forget about 1962? No, forgive me. Was I doing multiple? Oh, no. It was 5. See, I wrote down 1962, but here was my problem, Muse.
What was that?
In 1962, Wendell Harris and Earl Gross were picked. But Earl Gross was taken in the first round of 2 different drafts, the NFL and the AFL. So technically, only 2. So we got to strike 1962. I mean, you remember when Earl Gross got picked in the first round. I mean, it's a great day.
Yeah.
I mean, all who could forget the moment with the family whenever he found out. It was awesome.
Not a real fan if you don't remember that.
It's true. 1951. This is a big one too, Muse. Y.A. Tittle.
Heard of him.
You heard of Ebert Van Buren?
Sure. Yeah.
And Ken Cons?
Yeah, I don't know him.
You never heard of Ebert Van Buren? You know Steve Van Buren.
Yeah.
You don't know Ebert. They're probably related.
Gotta be.
We're just going to assume that they are. Yeah. Can't back that up, but let's assume that they are. Are you going to Google it?
I'm going to Google it.
Look at Muse giving me some Google over there. I'll tell you what.
What's that other guy's
Getting to
name?
work. Ken Cons, K-O-N-Z.
No, the Van Buren.
Oh, Ebert. Ebert, like Siskel and Ebert? You know who Siskel and Ebert are?
No.
Gosh, darn it. Now, I'm checking myself all the time now, realizing you know nothing about...
They're brothers.
Okay.
There you go.
Steve, and I told you they were related.
Yeah.
Why are we acting surprised? They had to be. We knew it. When was Steve drafted?
Steve Van Buren was drafted in 1944, 5th overall.
Okay.
And then...
and Ebert went in 1951.
Yeah. He did. He went 7th overall.
There it is. Big Brother's got some bragging rights. He went 5th overall. Those Van Burens, I tell you what, good genes.
Born in Honduras.
How about that?
That's crazy.
Yeah, you didn't know that?
No, I didn't know that.
Oh, wow.
You didn't know that either. Shut up.
I'm a big Ebert Van Buren guy.
Oh,
What are you
God.
talking about?
Please, no.
We're a big Ebert Van Buren show
this
here.
is-
I've been a fan forever.
Ebert Van Buren.
Are you just reading his Wikipedia?
Never mind. He died in 2019. Wow.
Oh, he lived a long
he's
time.
94 years old.
Wow.
Died in Monroe. Funroe. Shout out.
Good genes, bro. That's
Yeah,
what I'm talking
man.
about. The Van Burens. There was a President Van Buren as well.
Yes, there was a president.
Was
Van
it
Buren.
Arthur Van Buren?
No, it wasn't Arthur. Who was it? Martin Van Buren. Martin Van Buren.
I was close.
The 8th president of the United States. How about that? Yeah, there you go.
I was a big Martin Van Buren guy.
I wonder if he's related to the Van
Gotta
Burens.
be.
He must be.
There's not that many Van
There
Burens.
couldn't be, yeah.
How many Van Burens do you know running around?
At least 2.
3.
3, yeah, if you count Martin.
Old Prez.
Good sideburns.
Boy, did we just
Yeah.
absolutely derail this segment just there. We were talking about a mock draft and how many times LSU's had 3 or more first rounders. Happened in 2024, obviously, with Jaden, Malik Neighbors, and Brian Thomas. Happened in 2020 with Burrow, Chasson, Jefferson, Queen, and Clyde. 5. That was the most. Happened in 2017. That was Leonard Fournette, Jamal Adams, and Tre'Davious White. Then, of course, the 07 year with J-Rock, LaRon Landry, Dwayne Bowe, Buster Davis. But from 07, it hadn't happened since 1951 when Y.A. Tittle, Ebert Van Buren, and Ken Cons all went in round 1. Got a chance to, I mean, this is like, we're clearly living in the golden era. I mean, 4 times since 07, 3 since the 2017 draft. But this will be the 5th time. If LSU does see 3 players go in the first round, that'd just be the 6th time ever that they've had 3 first rounders. In just the 5th time since 1951. When?
Y.A. Tittle.
Yes.
Ebert Van Buren.
Yes.
Who him and Steve were a package deal in recruiting. And then
They were 6 years apart.
That doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You get them young. And then who was the other guy? Cons?
What was Cons' first name?
Kenny?
Yeah, it was Ken.
Hey!
Muse fought
He went by Kenny.
Muse fought through the haze to remember Ken Cons' name. Much respect to all of them. I'm sure they were wonderful Tigers who all went in round one and did LSU very proud. All right. Field Yates has a mock draft up. I had points that were probably salient, but it just doesn't matter now because we just absolutely yard sailed that segment. We'll go to break and try to do better next time.
AFR.
Brought to you by Clegg's Nursery. 4 locations in the greater Baton Rouge area. Segan near Airline, LA 16 and Denham, Mid-City on Don Moore, and the Garden Center on Greenwell Springs. Buy local, shop local at any of the 4 locations. Of course, y'all, how about that? Boy, when you woke up this morning, did you go outside this morning early, Muse?
No, I didn't.
Oh, my goodness.
Heard about it, though.
Oh, my goodness. See, I'm like a 5 a.m. wake-up guy and go work out at cold plunge workout early, that sort of thing. I'm that guy. And so walking outside this morning, oh, man. And I got in the car in the garage, so I didn't even really feel it until I got to the gym. And I walked outside. I was like, oh, my goodness. What is this sorcery I'm feeling? You know what it is?
A little taste of fall?
It's a little taste of fall. So it is time to get by Clegg's and get Johnny Naylor seeds, get those fall vegetable gardens planted. It's time, y'all. Fall is right around the bend. Season opener to the home opener against Nichols. It's going to be a high of 72.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
It's an everyday thing here. We work horses in the mornings and we work on the property during the day, and without these John Deere tractors, it'd almost be impossible to keep up with the place. I've dealt with some of the other colors and stuff, and I never really got the response back that I get from John Deere, We really enjoy dealing with Sunshine. They're good people. They always check on us and make sure our equipment's running, and we love them. Flip the switch and learn more about what it means to be powered by Sunshine at sunequip.com.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
At Relief Windows, we're more than windows. We're windows, doors, hardy plank, and vinyl siding. But our #1 product is always customer satisfaction.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Plucker's Wing Bar, open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
Hey, remember last week we took some time here on the show to answer a question that people had kind of been asking a lot. If there's one big question I think that everybody's asked about fall camp for LSU, it's been, hey, man, is the defense really any better? And, with the defense playing better, is that maybe a symptom of the offense not being as good? That's kind of the question a lot of people have asked. And last week on this show, you might remember, I told you I had through that point of camp, I had one big takeaway, one big thesis about the LSU defense. Did a whole segment on it. I think we put it on YouTube. Did a big segment where I had one big thesis that I had come to this belief, this opinion, through all the LSU fall camp that I had gotten to watch. Do you remember what it was? My one big thesis about this LSU defense? Here's a reminder if you missed it. Through 7 practices, 7 periods of media availability, my one big takeaway is that the whole is greater than the sum of the parts. And you know what that means, right? The whole is greater than the sum of the parts. It means individually, LSU's defense not really going to shine. When they all come together as a unit, they could be pretty good. I think we've seen that. They lose a lot of one-on-one matchups in the individual periods against the offense, but when they come to team periods, the defense elevates. They generate a pass rush. They have safety help. They create pressures. They make difficult throws. They work together as a unit. They've cut down on the coverage busts. The whole is greater than the sum of the parts. So, today, Brian Kelly was at his press conference and happened to use a certain phrase that sounded familiar.
I think that the sum of this team will be greater than any one of its parts. I think it's going to be a little bit,
right? I mean, he botched it a little bit, right? I mean, what he is wont to do from time to time.
Fair, yes.
Yeah, but we know what he was trying to say.
We got the gist.
Kind of like the execution of the players, the joke thing that he botched a couple of years ago.
Oh, yeah, I'm in favor of it. Yeah. I remember that joke,
Well, the attempt.
The attempt
of the joke.
That's true.
But he effectively used my line, didn't he?
He did.
Here, play it again.
I think that the sum of this team will be greater than any one of its parts. I think it's going to be
close. But we know what he was saying.
We get the gist.
And I think this confirms Brian Kelly, huge AFR fan.
P1, honestly.
P1 listener. Clearly liked what he heard there on AFR last week, and so he took it to the podium. Fumbled it a smidge.
He's got a lot on his plate. I mean, he can't remember everything he hears.
You know what BK did absolutely land, however?
Yeah, I think I know where you're going with this.
Did you see or hear what Lane Kiffin did at his press conference yesterday?
I did.
So Lane Kiffin's at the podium, and I guess Ole Miss is a Coca-Cola school. So Lane Kiffin goes to the podium and holds up, there's a Coke bottle on his podium because like product placement and all that stuff. Like I've got my bottle of Evermore here, I got the Bud Light here. It's product placement. This is what Lane Kiffin said. Do we not have the audio?
Yeah, it's not playing.
All right, hang on. We're going to do take 2. All right, here was Lane Kiffin. Take 2.
Does anybody drink Coke? You realize that 130% of your sugar for the entire day is in this one bottle. 65 grams of sugar.
When was the last time you had a Coke?
A long time.
So, Lane Kiffin, in a press conference where there is a bottle of Coke right there for product placement for the Coca-Cola Company, which I would presume spends a lot of money for that sponsorship with Ole Miss Athletics, and he proceeds to say, why would anybody drink this thing? Brian Kelly met with reporters today, and you might know that LSU is a Coke school, and if you ever pay attention, there's always a Coke on the set at Brian Kelly's press conference as well. Enter BK.
Just a shout out to our sponsor, Coke. Smart water, great Coke product, minerals, vitamins. It's just great for you. It's refreshing, healthy, and Coke provides you all the products that you need, depending on what you like. And I love Smart water.
TK landed a joke.
Landed it.
Oh, my God.
He knocked it into the upper deck.
That was a broken jaw, like, cross right across Lane Kiffin's face. I mean, I love a couple things, a couple observations. First of all, I love that Brian Kelly has a sense of humor. Now, it's dad joke humor, and he rarely ever lands the joke. Like, the punchline almost never hits. I laugh because it's like one of those things where it's so bad you laugh. And I think it's very endearing. Everyone has a dad. Brian Kelly's 62 years old. Like, he makes jokes like a 62-year-old man would make a joke. Like, he doesn't always land. So the fact that he landed that with his deadpan was just so good. The other part of it is, notice he was talking about Coke and then pivoted to Smart Water and didn't actually drink the Coke. He's like, I love Coke, but really what I like is Smart Water for the hydration and the minerals. And he did shout out the Coca-Cola company, but in any event, I would not recommend anybody drink Smart Water, though, because Smart Water has, as Brian Kelly said, minerals and a lot of junk added to it. What doesn't is Evermore. So drink Evermore. This is a Louisiana product, by the way, as well. Natural artesian well on the North Shore in Covington. The well is on site at the bottling plant. It has to be that way because they literally just pipe it out of the well into the bottle. So drink Evermore. Don't drink the stuff Brian Kelly drinks. Drink Evermore. It is a vastly superior product. It is a healthier option. It is a Louisiana product. I very much respect Brian Kelly doing what he did. You have to take care of the people that take care of you, and he's right to do that. But don't drink that stuff he drinks. Drink Evermore. So much better than other stuff, Muse.
He's going to switch. I mean, he listens. He hears it.
That's true.
He's going to switch now.
Brian Kelly, P1. I mean, Lane Kiffin, what are you doing, man? You want to know?
Awesome, too. I'm sorry. I know it's bad. Like, don't crap on the sponsor, but it's just so lame.
You want to know when you have, like, zero threat of retribution whatsoever? It's when you do something like that. Because you're making so much money, you don't care. Like, because I'll always say is when I do, okay, so this job, we have a ton of sponsors here. And so I always choose very carefully who I choose to endorse. Seriously, I walk a lot of business. There's a lot of people that ask for me to endorse them. I don't, because if I don't think it's a fit or something that I could confidently endorse, I won't do it. But the other part of it, too, is you're always going to give opinions. And so you have to ask yourself, is it worth it? Because when you give an opinion, invariably, no matter what, invariably, every time you give an opinion, you are going to piss somebody off. It's fair? Like, no matter what it is. You give an opinion, you are going to piss somebody off. So I piss off people every day of my life. And I know it. But it's this job. So you have to have thick skin and not really care, and I don't. So knowing that, you have to choose your battles and ask, like, all right, is it really worth doing this one? And if you're Lane Kiffin, you kind of have to think of it in those terms. Like, was the effort worth the payoff? Like, okay, you got to dig in, but why? And all you did was potentially compromise a sponsor and someone who spends a lot of money and is a partner that is teamed with your university. Anyway, I'll be curious to see how he might get back because he's going to have to do something.
I'm surprised it hasn't already happened.
It'll happen. Next time he has a press conference or something, he'll do something. But because Terrio's told this story before, I got to go quickly. When Terrio's with the Cubs, they were big Bud,
yeah.
Cubs have a big Bud sponsorship. Well, in a post-game press conference one time, he was asked, he talked about his post-game routine. He said, I go drink like six. He mentioned a different beer, which I don't want to say because obviously I'm with Mockler and Bud Light. Well, the Bud people heard it, and the next day they had pallets of beer dropped in Terrio's front at his front door to be like, hey, we got you, man. How about you try our stuff? Yeah. But it matters. Like, you got to be aware of that stuff. Anyway, All right, it's After Further Review. We're brought to you by South Point Volkswagen and SouthPointVW.com. SouthPointVW.com, new and certified. By the way, you go in the parking lot, Muse. You go in the parking lot, go in my parking spot. What's sitting in my parking spot?
South Point Volkswagen.
Well, not South Point. That's the dealership.
Well, yeah, but a Volkswagen.
It's a Volkswagen Atlas Crossport. I drive a Volkswagen. My wife drives a Volkswagen. She drives the Atlas. It's not lip service. I remember pulling up to Zurich this year, pulled up to the valet to go do my show at Zurich, and the guy, I guess, who was the valet recognized me. He goes, man, you really do drive a Volkswagen. Yeah, you think I'm lying to you on air? Test drive one, you'll understand it. SouthPointVW.com, South Point Volkswagen. What's your direction? Okay, we went way long on these last two segments. My apologies. Let me break. Buse will do Tigers and the Pros. We got Ross Jackson coming up in less than 15 minutes. He was at Saints practice last night at Ullman and today at the Saints training facility. A ton to do here on a Hump Day edition of AFR. Stick around.
AFR.
Man, if you're a business owner and you are struggling to hire, struggling to find the right people that are going to make your business more efficient, you need Glow Resources. GLO, glowresources.com. Look, reach out when you call Glow and ask for Casey. Had a chance about a month ago to go to the Glow offices, sat down with Casey, and we talked about the professional placement division. And while so much of what Glow does, of course, is skilled blue-collar labor, they have their professional placement division as well. So if you're looking for office administrative staff, executive-level assistants, assistant controllers, plant managers, scheduling assistants, basically any type of office job, accounting, HR, marketing, managerial or supervisor roles, they can help you find anything, and they can move quickly based on your timeline. It's Glow Resources. They're based right here in Baton Rouge, but they have offices all over the country, and they help businesses find employees for jobs all over the world. Check them out online today. It's time to be more efficient. glowresources.com. GLO, glowresources.com.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Elevate brand visibility, ignite customer engagement with the power of radio and digital advertising combined. Guarantee Digital Media brings the two together as a trusted media partner in Louisiana for nearly a century. Claim your free digital audit at guaranteemedia.com.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile bank.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Plucker's Wing Bar, open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
Wrapping up hour number 2, Muso Tigers in the pros.
Tigers in the pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now.
Getaway day in Houston. Alex Bregman makes his return to the lineup. You might be remembering he's dealing with a little bit of an elbow issue there. Was the leadoff hitter and the designated hitter. First AB.
Let's see it.
Homer.
What?
Tied the game up at 1. Line drive. Line drive into the first row of the Crawford box out there. Only hit of the day for Bregman, but, man, it was home run number 20 on the year. Aaron Nola's on the bump tonight for the Phillies. They're facing Paulie's Atlanta Braves. Nola looking for win number 12 on the season. The ERA, 3.45. He's been very, very good. Dylan Cruz.
Heard of him.
Last night. Yeah, this was huge. 1 hit on the day, but a 3-run opposite field bomb from Dylan Cruz. His 4th homer in his last 9 games. His 8th homer overall on the season.
You know what we call that?
What we call that?
A no-doubter.
A no-doubter.
Ooh,
3
they were
RBI
playing
on that
the
swing.
Space Pigs.
How
Look
about
at that
that?
guy's jersey.
You like that?
The Space Pigs.
Minor League Baseball's so cool. It's just so cool.
No.
Yes, it is.
No.
It is, though. 4 RBI in total for Cruz on the night. Todd Peterson. Got some action yesterday for the Harrisburg Senators. Inning in 2/3, walked a couple, 2 strikeouts, but shutout ball for Todd Peterson. And lastly, Trey Morgan made his Double-A debut. 1 for 3, 2 runs scored, picking up where he left off. That's Tigers and Pros.
Presented by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, LMFJ.com, LMFJ.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, y'all. Lee Michaels, just the best. The perfect blend, right? They're not so big and impersonal like the big box store, but they're not so small and boutique where you can't find what you want. You pay astronomical prices. Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. 9 locations, so you'll always get a great selection, and you always get the Lee Michaels experience. LMFJ.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Hour 3, next.
AFR.
Man, I love telling you about Parish Construction and Roofing. Had a buddy, true story, this morning texted me picture of the ceiling in one of the rooms of his house caved in. It sucks. He had a slow leak that developed and built up over time. When he woke up, boom, had a hole in his roof. I tell you this all the time. And yes, we were there today, and we're going to take care of it and get everything back up and patched up and awesome. But I tell you this all the time. You could have a slow leak in your roof and be completely unaware until that slow leak in your roof becomes a giant hole in your ceiling. Y'all, there's 1 of 2 ways to find out if you got roof issues. Let us come give you a free, no-obligation roofing inspection, or you wait till it rains or something like that happens. You wake up and you got a hole in your ceiling. Parish Construction and Roofing. Do business with someone you know. That's me, that's Terrio, that's Tilly, that's Trent Davis, that's Joe Morales. It's our whole team. We're thrilled to help you and thrilled to be part of the community. ParishBuilt.com. Check us out online, ParishBuilt.com.
Back to school savings at Bayou Ford. $12,000 off F-150, $12,000 off the new 2024 Ford F-150, and $10,000 off Expedition. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a complimentary extended warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
The best kept secret in town is out. Discover Tallulah at the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet.
When it comes to ending cancer, we push forward, always working together for you. That's why our cancer experts at Ochsner have clinically integrated with MD Anderson Cancer Center. This means advanced cancer care, including access to life-saving clinical trials and integrating care to treat the whole you. Introducing Ochsner MD Anderson Cancer Center. Long live you.
There's nothing chill about a hot, sweaty line. Unless you add Mountain Cold Refreshment. Coors Light. Choose chill.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. and we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
BRAC teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. BRAC, your #1 park system in the nation.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. The Broncos named rookie Bo Nix their starting quarterback. He'll be the first Denver rookie to start the regular season opener under center since John Elway in 1983. Broncos at Seattle for Week 1. Browns quarterback Deshaun Watson limited in practice today because of general arm soreness. The team not overly concerned. Watson's coming back from season-ending shoulder surgery in November. Steelers QB Russell Wilson expecting to play in Saturday's preseason finale against the Lions. He played 5 series in the second preseason game, but Pittsburgh failed to score any points during that time, so the 35-year-old Wilson is eager for another opportunity.
I think the most important thing for us to accomplish is to play efficient football, move the ball up and down the field. Obviously, we want to celebrate in the end zone. That would be fun. We need to make sure that happens, and that's the standard of football we want to be able to play.
Russell Wilson, he and Justin Fields competing for the starting job. Baseball, Astros righty Justin Verlander out since June 9th with a stiff neck, allowed 2 runs, 4 hits. He struck out 6 in 5 innings in his return today, a 4-1 loss to the Red Sox.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ, Chris Candy, coming up Thursday, AFC North, NFC North, and NFC West. I'll tell you which division is clearly the best in football. It's Unsportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge Studios.
Let's ride.
Hour 3, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by Pluckers. I'm Matt.
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
Paul O'Neal.
They're chanting Paul O'Neal's name.
So. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. 5 o'clock quitting time. Glad you are driving home with us. And oh, by the way, it's a hump day. Hey.
It's hump day.
We got Ross Jackson on hold.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
He was here last week and we did hump day.
Hump day.
He enjoyed it so much.
It's hump day.
I figured what the hell, let's do it again.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
LSU is back on the practice field today.
Hump day.
4 key players battling injuries.
It's hump day.
All 4 should be good by the weekend.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
BK taking shots at Lane Kiffin.
Hump day.
We got Justin Vincent here talking some LSU running back.
It's hump day.
We heard from Dennis Allen after practice at Ullman.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
We talked about Alvin Kamara back in practice.
Hump day.
We talked about Trevor Penning still not being good at football.
It's hump day.
So basically, it's the day that ends in Y.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
All right, let's get cranking here. We're glad you're with us. Pluckers Trivia in about 30 minutes from right now. Got some early season bowl projections and Lincoln Riley updating prep for LSU. So we'll get to the USC perspective in about a dozen minutes from right now. Ross Jackson was at Ullman Stadium on Tuesday night, late night, and then was back at it today around noon at the Saints training facility. You can catch Ross Locked on Saints podcast. And, of course, leading our Saints coverage at LouisianaSports.net, which is now live. How are you, dude?
Doing great. I'm glad that you guys did the hump day thing again because I was going to be a little disappointed if it wasn't there. So that was a pleasure.
You know, Ross, I don't want to disappoint, and I don't like disappointing the kids. And mostly the hump day, what I hear from parents who have their kids in the car, like going home from school or whatever, they're like, my kid loves the hump day thing, and you didn't do it. And I don't do it when I have a guest on the phone because I'm trying to be respectful of my guest's time. So in this case, your time. But you told me last week you liked it, so I was like, you know what? We're bringing it back. I don't want to disappoint the kids.
Don't want to disappoint the kids. Wu-Tang loves the children. You know what they say.
I believe the children are our future. That's what it is.
That's true.
I heard that somewhere. Hey, let's talk a little bit about what the Saints. I mean, 2 practices since we were last on air. So they crammed a lot of work into a short window. A big takeaway maybe from the open practice at Ullman on Tuesday night?
Yeah, I think the big thing from the Ullman practice was the Saints working more of those situational drives. I think that their red zone work in particular has been really, really good all throughout training camp. It's yielded a lot of, balls to the end zone, which is great, a lot of scores. It's yielded a really good running game, and then that running game has allowed them to be able to do some nice things in terms of play action and all that. In the red zone as well. So, this is a team that struggled in the red zone early on in 2023. I don't know just yet if they're going to be better right off the bat when it comes to the red zone, but if not, they should get there quickly. That's been one of the things that I've really enjoyed watching from this team so far. Because, look, if you can score in the red zone, you're going to win some games. You're going to be able to do that. And so I think that they've done a really good job in terms of their situational work. And then with today's practice, really the other big takeaway for both of these 2 practices over the course of the last 24 hours has been health. They get back to Louisiana, and all of a sudden Alvin Kamara's back, and Taliesin Fuang is back out on the field, and Pete Werner's back. Demario Davis is doing team drills. Paulson Adebo, which is going to be up on LouisianaSports.net here soon. Paulson Adebo getting back to practice today as well and participating in team drills. I think those are the 2 biggest takeaways for me. And, of course, it's great to see this team kind of finally on the other side of the conversation of health for a change.
No doubt, man. One of the other things I noticed, and so you can catch Ross's work, as we mentioned, over at LouisianaSports.net, and he's got the full write-up of his takeaways from the practice on Tuesday night. And you did write about Spencer Rattler's 2-minute drill maybe not going so great. Can you kind of walk us through that a little bit? And if you feel at this point, going into the last preseason game, there's been any separation there at the number 2 quarterback spot?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll start by saying I don't think there's been any separation yet. It seems that these 2 guys are kind of intertwined. Like when one has a great day, the other has a great day. When one has a not so great day, the other one has a not so great day. And so these guys have kind of just followed the same line here so far. So this week as well as this weekend might be very telling for that whole QB2 backup quarterback battle. I would say that when it came to his 2-minute drive last night, the big thing that everyone's going to talk about, of course, is that he threw an interception, and that's what kind of ended the drive. But look, the interception is compounded by the fact that there was a pass that was a little bit too high for Kevin Austin that he ended up reeling in. There was another pass that went over the middle that should have been picked off, threw it directly to Caleb Ford-Demet that just kind of hit the hands and fell off. So just a little bit of miscommunication between Rattler and his intended receiver, Stanley Morgan Jr. And then the interception, of course, happens because it bounces off of Kevin Austin's hands and then falls in the hands of a receiver. Oh, it was actually a well-placed pass. And so even though the interception wasn't his fault, it compounds on top of a couple of the other things, it certainly didn't make the drive better for him, right? And then today, he had another one, just to give you an update on today's practice. He had another one to where, he puts the ball directly where it needs to be for a receiver, bounces off the hands, and then DeMarco Jackson comes through and swings through with an interception during today's practice. So it's just been kind of the ball not bouncing his way, literally, in certain cases. But the issue is that it didn't make things better from the fact that there were a couple of off-target throws, one of which should have been intercepted at an earlier point in that 2-minute drive. So it was a little bit of it's been a tough kind of 24 hours for Spencer Rattler so far, even though he continues to find some highlight throws here and there.
Stats, emptying the notebook, just a ton of info, and it's all free at LouisianaSports.net. No paywall, so if you want to read Ross's stuff, go there, and of course you can hear him Locked On Saints. The other big takeaway today for me, Ross, had to be the continued rotation on the offensive line. Before we get to left guard with Lucas Patrick leaving with injury, let's start at right tackle with Oli Udoh, obviously Trevor Penning, and Dennis Allen's comments after that. There doesn't seem to be any separation there either. You've seen every practice. I mean, what do you think's happening over there?
Yeah, I think it's been interesting because you have a guy like Trevor Penning who has struggled a bit here over the course of, struggled quite a bit over the course of training camp in the first preseason game, and yet none of the other guys that were taking second, third team reps at right tackle really kind of took advantage of that opportunity and kind of grabbed the bull by the horns in that situation themselves. And so now all of a sudden we're seeing Oli Udoh get a little bit more, opportunities at right tackle and everything. They like what he does. There's familiarity there. He and new offensive coordinator Clint Kubiak were in Minnesota at the same time back in 2021. And so there's some familiarity with all that. They like his athleticism. They love his size, all these other pieces. But even Dennis Allen today still said, he still gives Trevor Penning the edge. And I see it the same way. I know Trevor Penning has struggled, but, you haven't really seen any of these guys perform better than Trevor Penning at any point over the course of this offseason. So perhaps that ends up kind of, informing the public of maybe a greater issue at right tackle. But I'll say that I thought that there were some slight improvements for Trevor Penning from preseason week 1 to preseason week 2. Now let's see if he can follow it up preseason week 3. If he can, then that job should end up ultimately being his if what Dennis Allen described today is true, that, nobody's really come up and claimed and say, hey, this is my job, but he still gives the edge to Trevor Penning. If he's able to have a strong performance against the Tennessee Titans, a team that he struggled against last year, by the way, so depending upon who ends up being active for that Tennessee Titans defense, what a good barometer that could be in terms of literally being able to measure his improvements from year to year. There's a real opportunity for him to solidify that role if he gets that playing time against Tennessee, which I expect that he would.
Do you think we're going to see when roster cuts come, maybe the Saints look for a free agent tackle that falls through the cracks somewhere else?
I think that's a very likely scenario. And I would say that either, somebody that goes to waivers or potentially, and this happens when it comes to roster cuts, to where a team maybe, has a right tackle that they could move on from, but they really want to get something in return for that player. And so that way they can keep another player on the roster, another position. And so instead they try to shop that tackle first via, trade. And so if you can move a day 3 pick, and that's typically what these end up being, if you can move a day 3 pick and then bring in, a right tackle before those roster cuts happen, then the team that's moving on from that player gets something in return. It's better than them going to waivers. And then the advantage for the Saints is that they make sure that they get that player as opposed to them being subject to the waiver priority order in the NFL, which is just the, kind of reverse order of end of last year's finish. And so that would be a realistic situation I could see the New Orleans Saints pursuing.
Ross, between now and Sunday's third and final preseason game, what are you going to be watching, and what should Saints fans be keeping a close eye on?
Yeah, I think you're still watching some of these position battles. You made reference to left guard earlier. That left guard spot has been Lucas Patrick's for the most part throughout camp. But right now, an undrafted free agent out of Minnesota, Kyle Hergel, is looking really good and hasn't allowed a single pressure in any of his preseason action, which has been a pretty considerable amount of preseason action so far. He's the guy that moved into first-team reps today because Lucas Patrick was dealing with cramping. And so welcome back to Louisiana,
right.
Unfortunately, for these guys.
I was waiting on that, man.
There's no better indicator that you're not in California anymore than like the indoor practice you get a cramp. But that's what it's like here. So, but I think that you have a potential for some competition there as well. But I expect that Lucas Patrick eventually wins that. So definitely something to watch over the course of the week is what's that competition look like, because that offensive line is going to be sort of it's going to kind of predicate the success of the Saints offense. I think safety you're still watching. And I think wide receiver you're still watching to see who's going to win that fifth wide receiver spot. And then cornerback, I think, is a really interesting one, too, because Rico Payton, the undrafted free agent out of Pittsburgh State, has looked awesome for the first 2 preseason games. Right now he's dealing with a shoulder injury. He should be fine, but, does that open the door for another guy like Shamar Jean-Charles, who was kind of the apple of everyone's CB5 eye before Rico Payton started his standout games? Does that open a door for him to maybe come in and steal that spot? So I think you're still watching these position battles. And then, of course, that QB2 spot between Haener and Rattler should be very entertaining, because I imagine they're going to get the bulk of reps in this final preseason game.
Practice report coming today at LouisianaSports.net?
Absolutely. We'll have everything there, including the return of Paulson Adebo to team drills, which is huge for this team. Pete Werner getting back into some of the action as well, and some more updates on the kicker competition, too, because we got another attempt for a big leg for Blake Grupe. But, we'll see how that position battle ends up working out for the team over the course of the offseason.
Did Blake Grupe attempt a long field goal?
He attempted a big one. It wasn't 65. He attempted one from 61, hit the left upright, but had the leg to do it.
Okay.
Just a little bit to the left on it. And remember, this is the first time these guys are kicking indoors, too, so they haven't had to, kind of deal with wind and, get ready to kind of compensate for that and everything. And so, I think that kicker battle continues to be really interesting, too.
On Twitter, at Ross Jackson Nola. You'll give him a follow. Of course, subscribe to the Locked On Saints podcast. And you can read Ross at LouisianaSports.net. Totally free, everything and always LouisianaSports.net. All right, dude. Appreciate it, man. Talk later.
Always a pleasure, dude. Take care. Stay safe. Talk to you soon.
That's Ross Jackson. This is After Further Review. We're glad you're with us. We're always glad to tell you about Michelli Weighing and Measurement. Michelli.com. Locations all over, not only Louisiana, but the country. 6 locations in Louisiana alone, but more than 30 different locations across a dozen different states. Even if you're outside of Louisiana, you weigh or measure something. They sell, service, rent the products you use to weigh and measure. Of course, calibration is the name of the game with Michelli Weighing and Measurement. So check out the website at Michelli.com. You can hit the services tab when you go to Michelli.com. It's right there on the homepage. You hit services and you see everything that they offer over at Michelli Weighing and Measurement. They're ISO 17025 accredited laboratory. If it's calibration, preventative maintenance, weighing systems, inspection certificates, I tell you all the time as well about their track system, 24/7, 365 access to all of your calibration certificates. So let's say hypothetically you get audited someday. You'll know exactly when that machine was calibrated and down to the name of the technician who calibrated it. All there for you free of charge, 24/7, 365. They think of everything. It's Michelli Weighing and Measurement, Michelli.com, Michelli.com. All right, y'all, Muse will get some Pluckers trivia here in about 15 minutes. How you feeling, Muse? Told you got a history one in there. History minor.
I'm feeling pretty good.
What's your favorite era of history?
Civil War, World War II.
Those are 2 different eras.
I know.
Just American history?
Yeah.
You don't like world history? You don't like the rest of the world?
I like world history. I'm not going to do as well at world history. Like, I'm not going to, depending on, right? I mean, like, when it comes to World War II, sure. But if you're asking me, like, Western Civ, yeah, I don't remember any of that.
You don't like the Byzantine Empire or anything? No, not really?
Don't care.
Napoleon?
No, I don't care.
No? Jesus?
Yeah, sure. Love Jesus.
Yeah, it's a good dude. JC.
JC, yeah, there it is.
There it is.
You're in good company.
So is JC. Greg is Jewish.
Greg's Jewish.
So is JC. You're good company. As Meet the Parents, for those who don't know. There's a handful of movies that if you say a line, any line, with context or not, a Muso will laugh.
You're adding a few too many now. I think we're past the handful. Because, I mean, you've figured out My Cousin Vinny now as well. So, like, that one.
I don't know if that plays. It was just that.
Oh, no, that plays.
I just made the My Cousin Vinny reference and you laughed. Like, you got it. But I wouldn't, like, Big Daddy, Happy Gilmore, I say any line from any line from one of those movies, you're laughing.
Billy Madison.
Wedding Crashers, you're last.
See, that's already 4 right there.
Okay.
And Meet the Parents, that's 5.
Have we said Meet the Parents before?
Yeah. I mean, we always do the Panama Red thing and all that.
Oh, that's true. Okay, yeah, that's right.
man,
So there's
Meet the
5.
Well, like I said,
what am I missing?
Well, I mean, you could add in My Cousin Vinny, which would give you 6. I'm telling you. All right.
I love that movie.
So good.
But we've never tried that. But there, we just did 5. There was a handful.
Okay. I feel like there's more, but
there might be.
Oh, Ace Ventura.
Come on. No, I love Ace Ventura, but I don't know that it's one of those things that every time I say a line from the movie, you're going to laugh.
Oh yeah. I love both of them. They're fantastic.
It's not that you don't love them. I love them too. They're great. But I don't know that that's one that we've workshopped to where every time I say a line, no matter what, when you could be sitting at your desk. You could be sitting at your desk. I could walk in and say, first of all, that cab was huge.
Cab was huge.
There you go. You see, like, you're going to laugh.
Just so
a completely out of context, any line from the movie, and boom, there you go.
All right. Well, think about the ones we said, and I'm telling you, you'll get to over a handful on it.
It's AFR.
AFR.
Get Gordon and get it done. Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. Not too late, y'all, to enter the Gordon McKernan Design My Billboard contest. You can win up to $2,000 in prizes from Gordon. It's easy. Go to getgordon.com/billboards. Getgordon.com/billboards. One more time. Getgordon.com/billboards. You can get all the rules to enter right there. Basically, you just got to make sure you got Gordon's logo included in the billboard. But design it. Get creative. Pull out Canva or clip art or whatever it is you use. Microsoft Paint. I don't know. Design Gordon's billboard, and you could win. If you do, you can win up to $2,000 in prizes, and your design will be on one of Gordon's billboards. Very cool. So go to the website. Second year they did it. Last year was really cool. See all the winners there as well. Just get creative. Maybe you can even use AI. If you don't know what to do, let AI do it for you. Maybe you'll win. GetGordon.com/billboards to get all the info. GetGordon.com. You know what to do. Get Gordon and get it done.
There it is, the extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further. Like vans customized for work or play. With safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
At Relief Windows, we're more than windows. We're windows, doors, hardy plank, and vinyl siding. But our #1 product is always customer satisfaction. Visit us online at reliefwindows.com.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
When it comes to ending cancer, we push forward, always working together for you. That's why our cancer experts at Ochsner have clinically integrated with MD Anderson Cancer Center. This means advanced cancer care, including access to life-saving clinical trials and integrating care to treat the whole you. Introducing Ochsner MD Anderson Cancer Center. Long live you.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood Subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Plucker's Wing Bar, open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
That's kind of how this whole camp has been. It's like, it's not even really one team dominates a day very often. It's kind of this period and that period, and then this period it's back and forth. And so it has been very competitive. I think you feel on the field the size difference in this team. You feel kind of the physicality, the battle at the line of scrimmage absolutely feels different. And I think anytime we get on the field together in a team or like scrimmage scenario, I certainly feel that.
That's Lincoln Riley. I was listening to that the first time, and you know what I thought? Remember when Joe Sloan was talking about LSU's defense, and he said, they win a rep, we win a rep? Like, it's almost parallel. I know I've said this a bunch, but LSU and USC are so similar. It's like, we could do a blind resume on LSU and USC and probably not be able to tell the two apart. They're that similar. And we focus so much here on LSU's defense and the defensive improvement. Well, the same thing is true there at Southern Cal. They have a new defensive coordinator, and they got a lot of new players. By the way, of USC's 11 projected defensive starters, 10 of them are transfers, and 5 of them are in their first year at USC. Not only first year starting, but first year at SC. So they overhauled the entire thing. Look, LSU's got a lot of transfers on defense. Braden Swinson's a transfer. Gio Paez is a transfer. West Weeks is a transfer. Jordan Gilbert's a transfer. I mean, there's a lot of guys on LSU's defense that are transfer players. Parashand, that are going to be players. Jair Brown, J.K. Johnson, there's a lot of them. But when I go over your first 11, your starters, there's a lot of guys that are LSU, that have been at LSU their whole career. I mean, Jacobian Guillory's been here his whole career. Savion Jones been here his whole career. Harold Perkins, Sage Ryan, Jordan Allen, Greg Penn. I mean, there's a lot of players on LSU's defense that have stayed and developed and gotten better, and they've supplemented with the portal. It's basically what Brian Kelly has said from the beginning that he's trying to do. But whenever you have something like this with SC, where the whole defense is new, preparing for that is different and difficult. And Brian Kelly was asked about that, like trying to scout USC's defense when it is so new, not just with D'Anton Lynn coming in as the new defensive coordinator, but all the personnel as well.
It's hard to tell because there's so many transfers. We look at a lot of UCLA tape to get structure. And then because there's so many transfers, it's really hard. We break them down individually by player and do a deep dive on each one of them as players. And, obviously a lot of individually talented players. But like anything else, they got to play together as a unit. So what we've done is we've relied heavily on the unit that played together at UCLA and expect that they're going to play in a similar fashion. And then obviously know the talents that, a lot of these guys bring as individuals.
One of those guys that's a transfer, by the way, is Zion Branch. Zion Branch, who played at Ohio State, transferred to USC. He's a safety, and he's expected to be a starter, but he's been battling an injury. He's actually playing corner, I guess, for SC. But here was Lincoln Riley with an injury update there on Branch.
Zion had to have a small procedure done on one of his fingers or on his hand. Extremely minor. He'll miss like a day or two and he'll be back in. But he's had a really good camp. Been impressed with his ability to. We know he can bounce back from an injury. We've seen it. But how fast he's bounced back mentally and physically from this one is probably even more impressive than the others. He's had a really strong camp. So I'm excited to have him back.
I would say that. You'll see Zion Branch, obviously, against LSU. Now, Riley also, and this is something we have just talked so much about. And forgive me, Branch wasn't one of the transfers. Forgive me, he's been at SC. Forgive me, he was not one of the transfers. That's my mistake. I misread that. My mistake. But like we've talked about with Blake Baker here, And even Brian Kelly, the biggest difference. Brian Kelly on Saturday when we were talking about it, I asked him even from day one to now. He said, look, we had to get rid of the coverage bust defensively. There was a lot of them, the big plays. And so they simplified. So that's one of the big differences, simplifying to get rid of a lot of the mistakes, the mental mistakes that led to huge plays. Well, Lincoln Riley was asked the same question. Listen to his answer.
I hate to get into the comparisons of it. There's just a lot of it that's different, what we're doing, how we're doing. I do think it's been impressive how our coaches have kind of meshed together, and then how our players have been able to pick up our scheme, kind of take to that coaching. I watch us and I don't feel like I'm watching a group that's only been doing this for a few months together. That's been a pretty consistent feeling really ever since we hit the field with this group of coaches and in this particular scheme, is you feel a comfort level and a confidence about our guys within that scheme. So it's got to go show up on Saturdays here pretty quick, but I think just more the overall feeling of the group certainly feels different, and obviously we'll go let the results speak for themselves.
It's just so interesting. Keep saying it, but you could blind resume LSU and USC, and coaches' quotes, redact players' names, things like that, and you probably it would be indiscernible which team you're talking about, which makes this game on a week from Sunday very hard to project, because the teams are so similar with identical questions, and only getting answers when they go tee it up and kick it off in Las Vegas a week from Sunday. We're brought to you by First South Farm Credit. FirstSouthLand.com. FirstSouthLand.com. I do some bowl projections I'm going to get to here in just a quick second, but let me remind you, if you're thinking of buying land, you call First South Farm Credit. Your first call, your first option, first in agriculture, is First South Farm Credit, but not just agriculture. They've been doing that since 1916, and every farmer in our state knows about First South Farm Credit. But roughly half their business comes from people like you and me who might be looking to buy that recreational property, a piece of hunting property, maybe buy that 20 to 100 acres that you want to build your family's dream home. First South Farm Credit can make that happen, and not just in Louisiana. They've got branches in Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama, and they can help you buy land anywhere in the contiguous 48. It's First South Farm Credit. Start here. Your first call should be to First South Farm Credit. So log on to FirstSouthLand.com. That's FirstSouthLand.com for First South Farm Credit. Bowl projections over at ESPN.com. I'm interested, not necessarily in bowl projections. I just think it's a fun exercise to see how it may all play out. And the two guys over at ESPN, Bonagura, and who's the other guy? It's
Schleybaugh, right?
Is it Schleybaugh and Kyle Bonagura are the two?
Pretty sure, yeah.
Yeah, Schleybaugh. You're right. Schleybaugh and Kyle Bonagura. So here's your bowl projections from the guys over at ESPN. Schleybaugh is breaking my heart here. Schleybaugh has LSU in the Texas Bowl against Kansas. You can open your mic and grow. Yeah, that's disgusting. But I kind of dig what Kyle Bonagura says. Now, I want LSU to be in the playoff, obviously. I think we all do. But if they're not going to be in the playoff, if they're not going to be in the playoff, where do I want LSU to play their bowl game?
Las Vegas.
Vegas, baby, Vegas!
How about Bonagura? LSU against Washington in the Las Vegas Bowl.
Vegas, baby, Vegas!
Yeah, 10:30 p.m. on ESPN. What day of the week is that? That's a busy day. That's Friday, December 27th. How about a Friday in Vegas? 10:30 p.m. Eastern Time, 9:30 Central. Do you have Viva Las Vegas?
Oh, sorry. No, I didn't have that. I just had the drop.
Don't worry about it, Muse. We got to go to break. And I'll have time to wait for you to pull it up. Just be ready next time, Muse.
Well, I didn't really know we were going there. We were doing the Lincoln Riley deal. I thought we were punting the bowl projection. Sorry about that.
Vegas, baby, Vegas!
That's why I covered my mouth like I was coughing, hit my cough button and went, hey, Viva Las Vegas.
All I heard was Vegas, so I got the Vegas drop. Sorry.
Still a little delayed reaction time?
No, I just think that, no, we're good on that.
Paulie laughed. I can always get Paulie to laugh at that.
Yeah. That's Paul's wedding crashers.
That is. Look at that. All right. We got Pluckers Trivia, then Otterlock staring you straight in the face. Don't you move. It's AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by River City's 1 Hour Air, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime. I was supposed to do that last segment. I flipped them. My bad. 1hourbr.com. ONE, 1hourbr.com. You got issues with your AC? Call River City's 1 Hour Air. A couple things to expect when you call. First of all, you're going to talk to a human. You could call at 7 p.m. on a Saturday night, and when you call, you're going to talk to a human. Seriously, it's not going to be an answering service. It's not going to, or an answering machine, an automated deal. You will talk to a human being. Whenever that technician is scheduled to come to your house, you will receive a call, a text, and an email alerting you the technician's on the way. You will get a picture of the technician and reviews of that technician so you know exactly who's coming to your house so you feel comfortable. And, of course, they're going to do exceptional work. It's River City's 1 Hour Air. I've been a customer for years. We're a member of their maintenance club. I practice what I preach. It's totally worth it to get the complimentary seasonal maintenance, front-of-the-line service, membership club pricing. They're the best. It's River City's 1 Hour Air. 752-0001.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared toward seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
It's an everyday thing here. We work horses in the mornings and we work on the property during the day, and without these John Deere tractors, it'd almost be impossible to keep up with the place. I've dealt with some of the other colors and stuff, and I never really got the response back that I get from John Deere, We really enjoy dealing with Sunshine. They're good people. They always check on us and make sure our equipment's running, and we love them. Flip the switch and learn more about what it means to be powered by Sunshine at sunequip.com.
Back to school savings at Bayou Ford. $12,000 off F-150, $12,000 off the new 2024 Ford F-150, and $10,000 off Expedition. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a complimentary extended warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs, even in the case of an after-hours emergency. The light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Pluckers Wing Bar, open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Pluckers Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
Hey, real quick, we're going to get to Pluckers Trivia. I talked to Jason Ramazan over at Mr. Fun's Travel. They're, of course, who's putting together the Vegas trip that we're going on. Me, T-Bob Hester, Gordy will all be flying private out of Baton Rouge a week from Thursday evening, coming home on Monday. It was completely sold out. 2 spots opened up. Someone had to drop out or cancel. So 2 spots are open. If you were interested in the trip, you want to make a last-minute go at it, there are 2 spots that opened up on the plane. So it's charter air from Baton Rouge to Vegas. I don't know what other accommodations, the hotel accommodation, everything are there. But if you're looking to get to Vegas, charter air is available. 2 spots on the plane, to Vegas Thursday night, home on Monday. If you want all the details, you can get it at MrFunsTravel.com. That's MRFUNSTravel.com. MRFUNSTravel.com. Again, T-Bob, Hester, and I, and Gordy will all be on that flight. Both ways. Erica's coming with me. If y'all want to meet E-Rock, you can. But anyway, 2 spots open. If you're interested, MrFunsTravel.com to get more info. Okay, Muso. Let's do some trivia. Muse, hit it. Here we go.
It's time for Pluckers Trivia. How many will Muso get wrong today?
All of them.
Pluckers Trivia. Every Wednesday night, 7:30 at Bluebonnet, 8 o'clock at Nicholson.
All right, Muse, how familiar you are?
Wow.
Hang on. Let me
There it
get
is.
some Evermore. By the way,
Okay.
shout out to Chris on the text line who says Brian Kelly puts Evermore in his smart bottle.
You might.
If you were smart, he would. Evermore is the superior product. All right, here we go. How familiar are you, Muse, with our Constitution? Oh.
I mean, it depends on what you're asking.
I'm asking a question about the Constitution.
Well, I know, but it just depends on, like, if you're asking me lines in the Constitution, that's probably not going to go very well.
The 7th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution guarantees what?
I'm awful with amendments. Well, I can tell you it's in the Bill of Rights because it's one of the first 10.
That's not the question.
I know. What is the 7th Amendment?
Thou shalt not kill.
That's no. That's the alcohol one, isn't it? Or is that the 17th? I don't. Prohibition, 17th Amendment, 7th Amendment. I don't know the answer to that question.
Give yourself a buzzer. A trial by jury. I'm not really stunned you didn't get trial by jury. I thought that wasn't one I thought you were going to get, by the way. But I'm really surprised you went to prohibition. I mean, that was in the 20s.
Yeah.
I mean, the Bill of Rights was in the Constitution
Right, it's the first 10
in
amendments.
1776.
Prohibition's the 17th, though, right? That's where, I was just confused with the numbers, I guess.
Hey, Muse. Of the big 4 in American sports, which was founded the most recently?
You're asking for the league, correct?
Correct. The NFL, NBA, MLB, NHL.
The NFL.
No.
Oh, wait, wrong. My bad. Slip. No.
It's the NBA. So I
Really?
think where you're confused here is the
merger. That's right. Yeah, that's right.
The AFL NFL merger is what you're thinking of. But then
Modern
again, the
day
NBA ABA merger was even more recent.
Really? Okay, I didn't know that.
The NBA was founded in 1946.
Yeah, I got thrown off by the merger.
Shout out Frank Bryan too, former LSU Tiger Frank Bryan, part of the first ever NBA All-Star game. I want to say that was in the 50s. Great guy. We get to meet him, courtesy of our friend Jeffrey Marks, when Frank Bryan, he wasn't eligible, if you remember the story, wasn't eligible for the LSU Hall of Fame because he never graduated, but he didn't graduate because he left for military service. And so they made an exception. The LSU Hall of Fame board made an exception and inducted him, which is awesome. I'm glad they did. Got to meet Frank Bryan up at his home in Zachary before he passed. He was almost 100 years old when he passed. But fascinating guy. I mean, played with George Mikan. I mean, like the early days of pro basketball is incredible. Anyway, okay. Finally, Muse, you're 0 for 2.
Yep.
And here's your history question, Muse.
Okay.
To salvage something.
The confidence is out the window, but here we go.
I think you should get this one.
Okay.
Who was vice president to Dwight D. Eisenhower.
Oh, no. 18th Amendment, by the way, prohibition.
You were way off.
Yeah. 11th Amendment. Eisenhower.
Show ends at 6.
Yeah, I know it is. Yeah. Man, I don't even have a guess.
Oh, my.
Presidents are not my strong suit, as we found out with Martin Van Buren earlier.
Yikes.
I don't know.
Man's a history minor from LSU.
Yeah.
Putting that degree to use here.
There it is. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah, because that's what I need to know. Is, I don't know. Oh, sorry.
Richard Nixon would be the answer.
Yes, indeed. Now, Nixon.
Son of a bugger.
Good photo coming off a plane, that Richard Nixon.
Trivia United Pluckers, do better than Muse. Get by either Pluckers location, Nicholson, Bluebonnet. Bluebonnet 7:30, Nicholson at 8 o'clock. Win Pluckers gift cards. Everyone gets to spin the prize wheel. Every team wins a prize. So get on by, and maybe you can do better than Muse and win even more than just one. Pluckers, you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird. Okay, final break. Oh, Jimmy, real quick. Jimmy gave us 2 early plays for Otter Locks. Padres money line, and the over in Arizona, Miami. By the way, he had over 10. I got it at 9 just now. So good number there. San Diego money line, over in Arizona, Miami. Both are getting underway right now. Otter Locks next.
AFR.
We're brought to you by Action Industries, a proud partner of LSU Athletics and a proud member of our business community for more than 4 decades, since 1982. And I say that all the time. I say that the year they were founded and how old they are, because when you know what you are and you operate within the confines and within the context and the structure of what you are, sometimes maybe you don't know about Action Industries because there are mega industrial contractors. There are huge companies with these $200 million jobs, inside the fence. That's not Action Industries. That's not going to be. That's not what they want to be. But maybe you hire that giant mega contractor for your 100-person job and you feel like you're not a priority. Well, at Action Industries, you would be their number 1 priority. You would get all of their best people, their undivided attention, and they do exemplary work and have a great safety record. It's Action Industries. Check them out online at Action Industries, a proud partner of LSU Athletics.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has back-to-school savings like $16,000 off 25 Ram 1500 trucks. We're open for business in our beautiful new showroom and taking $16,000 off. All new Bayou vehicles come with a complimentary extended warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Plucker's Wing Bar, open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
Down the stretch we come. Final segment here on a Hump Day edition of AFR. Always love telling you about Optimize, GeneratorPeople.com, GeneratorPeople.com. If you are thinking about a generator, you know this, generator's a commodity. The same product you can buy from many different people. So why Optimize? Two reasons. Number one, $600 deposit. They got financing options that'll meet any budget. So you can afford it. That's number one. Number two, that's all they do. They're not an electrical company that also sells generators. They're not an HVAC company that also sells generators. They do one thing. They sell, service, and install Generac automatic home standby generators. They'll handle the permitting for you. They'll make sure everything is to code. They'll get it done quickly. And they'll do a brilliant job on the install. They can even maintenance it for you throughout the life of the generator, even if you're not home. Optimize. GeneratorPeople.com, GeneratorPeople.com. Anywhere on the 1012 corridor. Lake Charles to Slidell, anywhere in between. GeneratorPeople.com for Optimize. All right, time for Otterlocks.
Otterlocks, presented by Lofton Staffing Services. At Lofton, we put people to work. Call us today at 924-0200 or go to lofton.jobs.
Otter, how are you?
Good, Matt. How about you?
Doing great. Thanks for the early tip on San Diego and the over in the Arizona-Miami game. I did give them out, so you want to give me a thought on those two?
Yeah, well, San Diego's closing out the sweep. They have the best record in all of Major League Baseball since the All-Star break. I mean, they are hot on the Dodgers' tail. And, it is an electric atmosphere in San Diego. Went to a couple of games, a couple of Dodger games when I was there for Del Mar. And, man, they're just on a roll. And, hey, man, it's basically a pick-em right now between Paul Skeens and Jackson Merrill for Rookie of the Year. Give you the description, left-handed hitter, kind of like a Will Clark type of looking swing with some wheels, man. He is impressive. Skeens was as much as minus 6,500 at some places for Rookie of the Year. It is very, very tight. I think a lot of that lot of support from Merrill also is that with the Pirates losing so much, a lot of people think that if the Pittsburgh does shut Skeens down, that he will easily win.
Got it.
But I still think Skeens is going to win it. So actually, I would recommend taking it minus 125, 130 at Skeens right now. He starts tomorrow at home against Cincinnati.
Okay.
So how about the movement today? I think with the Brian Kelly talking about the injuries, I don't think it's going to be that impactful on the USC game, but I don't know if it stirred some sharp money or not, but the money came in on USC, at Circa downtown, where we're doing the downtown Tiger Step Rally. Go to circalasvegas.com to RSVP. Save yourself a $60 cover and a drink ticket. That's Friday, 5 to 9 p.m. You're making a trip to Las Vegas. But down from 6.5 down to 4. So a lot of movement on LSU USC today.
Interesting.
I think if you want to take LSU, I think now's the time to swing. I think that line will move back up closer to its original at 5.5 or 6.
Okay.
Here's some more picks. It's kind of you follow the Yankees. Nestor has not been the Nestor of last year, to say the least. Cleveland also throwing kind of a weak start. Cleveland's backbone is their bullpen, number one bullpen ERA in all of baseball. But we're going over 8.5. Expect a lot of runs in that one. So over Cleveland and New York at 8.5. Aaron Nola and Max Fried, a really good pitching matchup. And The only problem is Max Fried is not in the best form as of late. He's gotten hit pretty hard the last 3 times out. Atlanta, we know about the injuries to their lineup. They are limited with the punch there. I like Philadelphia at even money or minus 15 at Atlanta at Truist Field.
Yeah, looking at $1.08 right now.
All right, and Milwaukee, how about they are the number 1 seed in the National League as of this point, and they are much better than St. Louis. They have a better pitcher going today, and so even money I think is a real easy swing on the Brewers at Busch Stadium or later. And one late one tonight. We've been riding the Dodgers. Money line, run line, the whole thing. The first 2 nights they've popped, but Logan Gilbert is one of baseball's. He's a top 5 pitcher in either league. So Seattle, that's just a big price for a pitcher of that quality. So I'm going to take a little small stab on the Mariners, who have been struggling. There's no doubt these are 2 teams going in opposite directions. But Gilbert's that's just too high of a number. Public on the Dodgers, fading Seattle right now, but you got to go with Gilbert in this spot here.
All right, man, a heavy card. All right, so San Diego on the money line, the over in Miami, Arizona. Those 2 are already underway. The rest of the card from the odds 4 plays: Yankees, Cleveland over, Phillies on the money line, Milwaukee on the money line, and Seattle coming back plus 160, taking a shot against the Dodgers. All right, Otter, where are you tomorrow?
The original walk-ons, they have their own tailgate party in Las Vegas that Friday, kind of as an appetizer, featuring Aaron Paul and Brian Cranston
1 minute remaining.
there inside the Harrah's location on the Strip. So the Ultimate Tailgate Kickoff Party, we'll be promoting that at the original walk-ons on Burbank tomorrow.
Looking forward to it, man. It's going to be a great time in Vegas. We're wheels up a week from Thursday. I know you and Hanny will be out there as well. We'll look forward to seeing you there, man. Have a great night. Good show tomorrow.
All right. Thank you, Matt. Good luck.
All right. That's Jimmy Yacht. Again, Otter Locks, San Diego on the money line, over Miami, Arizona, New York, Cleveland, over the Phillies, the Brewers, and Seattle all on the money line. All right, just about going to do it for us. If you missed anything, AFR On Demand presented by Brett Golf. Thanks to Justin Vincent, who is here in hour 2. Ross Jackson as well. We recapped LSU practice. Got you a bunch of Saints talk today as well. Practice. If you miss anything, AFR On Demand presented by Brett Golf. Just search After Further Review on your favorite podcast app, of course, on YouTube as well. Shout out, Muse Pauly. I appreciate everybody watching on YouTube. Please smash that like button. Y'all have a great night. We'll see you tomorrow at 3.
AFR.
As we get on down the road, get to remind you about the Williamson Eye Center. Dr. Blake Williamson and the Williamson Eye Center. Should have had Otter talk about him as well, because that's a great parallel when I have Jimmy here and I can talk about no matter your age or your refractive issue, right? I was a guy who started wearing glasses in the 6th grade because I was having trouble seeing the chalkboard in the classroom. Of course, I was very, very nearsighted. My prescription got to like -575. It was awful. I couldn't see my hand in front of my face. And I wore contacts and glasses forever until I met Dr. Blake Williamson, who explained why I was a perfect candidate for LASIK, and I wish I had done it a decade before. But I've been thrilled for the last 6 years to not have to fool with contacts or glasses. Jimmy was the guy who had the readers at the end of his nose, had to turn the flashlight on his phone to read a menu in a dark restaurant. I made fun of him for it for a lot. But he went to Dr. Blake, had the custom lens replacement. Now, doesn't need readers or anything, just sees. So no matter your age or your refractive issue, they have a solution. It's the Williamson Eye Center, 924-2020 or williamsoneye.com.
When it comes to ending cancer, we push forward, always working together for you. That's why our cancer experts at Ochsner have clinically integrated with MD Anderson Cancer Center. This means advanced cancer care, including access to life-saving clinical trials and integrating care to treat the whole you. Introducing Ochsner MD Anderson Cancer Center. Long live you.
Jerry and Benny Payne
began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding area.